your people. This is why it's so important that we got to stay connected. So welcome, welcome, welcome to another Tuesday on on my solutionship podcast. And the reason why I say that on my solutionship, and for the people who just tuning in, because again, I like to talk solutions. We do this from inside the RB Solution Center. We all know what the problems are. We know what the problems are. When are we gonna start getting solutions? That's what we need. And so when we talk about all my solution shit is SHYT, but that stands for success and happiness yields thriving. See, when we successful and we happy, we thrive. And the reason why thriving is so important, Brother Rick, don't you know, we didn't got so comfortable with surviving, we think that's the norm.
They got comfortable with it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, as a people, like, and this is why I be so solution based, man, when we talk, when we do things. Because again, we could talk till we blue in the face, but if we never come up with solutions, there's nothing's gonna change. So this is why this is so important. This is why I talk about solutions. And this is why I talk about thriving, because we got to get away from that okay mentality. Like, I got to next week. I got to the week after that. How long do you want to do that? And I always say, like, surviving, when we get comfortable with surviving, it's almost like being in the water and you consistently treading water. You're not drowning, but you're not moving. So eventually, if you keep surviving, if you get one hiccup, because if you tread water forever and you're not drowning or you're not going under, but you're treading, you get a cramp in your leg.
It's over.
You get a cramp in your leg. Yeah. It's over. Like now you're going under. And that's the same way with surviving. When we're surviving, it's almost like that cramp. One hiccup, throw everything off. Throw everything off. And I don't never talk about nobody on this show. But I'm just saying, when you never know, because when y'all be riding around with them bald head tires and one of them eventually blow out, now you got to go ahead and get 4 of them. That wasn't in your plan. That wasn't in your plan. So now that threw a hiccup in the whole financial situation. So this is why we got to focus on thriving and stop getting comfortable. And this is why, and we're going to talk about this too, like your circle and your environment. Man, your circle and your environment is so important. Because if I'm consistently surviving and everybody around me is surviving, I'm thinking I'm doing okay. I'm in the norm. But when you start getting around people that's really killing the game, right, it makes you realize, you know what, I ain't doing shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I gotta step my game. I thought I was doing good. I thought I was doing 70,000 a year. Like, oh yeah, 70,000 ain't no the flinch at. But when I start getting around people that making 225, I'm realizing, bruh, I need a lot of work, bruh. And that's what it does for you. And so I talked about this in the past about being motivationally uncomfortable. And we got to get to the point where we're motivationally uncomfortable. And what that means is we got to start getting in circles around people who make us uncomfortable, but they motivate us to do better. And that's the thing, is we don't get around those people enough. Hey, you gonna bring me 2 drinks, man? Y'all know about an hour and a half in, I'm slurring. Rick don't drink.
Thank you. I drink. That's your special concoction.
Yeah. So
we're really talking now. Okay.
All right. So again, man, like y'all already know, we had the event Sunday, and I want to do that shout out to everybody who came through Sunday. We have Where Black Authors Meet, the Authors Initiative, and I keep telling y'all, every month is getting bigger and bigger at the RB Solution Center. We had 60 people to register. We had 60 people to register, and we play the odds. We already know that if 60 register, we're gonna get 30, which that's good. That's good. But again, what we're doing is we're building databases because those people are gonna need it. So remember, if you're an author, know an author, make sure they come to these events, because I think this was the most impactful one we had. What you think, Keisha?
Yeah.
Because everybody I talked to, we had a speaker, man, and she's phenomenal. She's actually going to redo a lot of stuff with my book. And she gave the ins and outs of how to market your book, about understanding all the aspects of going through the book. And that's where a lot of y'all are. First of all, a lot of y'all have a book in you that haven't escaped yet. You know, and so work on getting that out. Because when we talk about multiple streams of income, this is what you want to do. If you have stuff that you're talking about and you're telling and you're expert at, multiple streams of income is, you know, and it's that beautiful income too, is that passive income. Because if you're talking, my book is on my website and somebody then saw me on the live and they go to my website and make a purchase, know what I did to get that money? Nothing. I did what I was already doing. That's the beauty of passive income. So when you're saying you have a situation, when you're saying that you have a situation and you're doing multiple streams of income and you got 4 businesses, to be honest with you, in most cases, I'm probably not taking you serious. Because again, that's not multiple streams in every situation. Because sometimes you have one stream that's funding the other 3 businesses. So we got to understand this whole platform. So when you have people that can come out, man, and shout out to Honeybee, you know, that's like, we're going to always give shout outs, man. We're going to show love to people who show love to us. We got a whole conglomerate over here. And you got to get involved with these events. The next event that we're having at the RV Solution Center is this Thursday. We're partnering with another company that actually, what they do is they are B2B networking event. And why you let me forget the name? Keisha, I ain't even drank yet. What's the name of their group?
Not B2B.
B2B is the business to business stuff.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's the one for Thursday?
Yeah.
No, Key.S.H.Y.T is.
Oh, Key.S.H.Y.T is Thursday. Yeah. So the Key.S.H.Y.T. So yeah, if you check out the Key.S.H.Y.T, the Key.S.H.Y.T is actually an organization that actually highlight profile businesses, and they do business to business networking. They have networking events. They highlight and showcase, and we've been privileged enough for them to host one of their networking events at the RV Solution Center. So this is what we're doing, man. We're bringing people together. People are utilizing. We're creating a space, and that was my whole intent, to create a space where people can actually come and host events, give classes, seminars, buy virtual addresses, do office space, all of those different things, you know. And so that's a beautiful thing that we're able to help people in that capacity. But not only that, but to come and allow them to showcase things that we're doing. We built so many relationships lately from having the events. And then Saturday, we have the pop-up shop. So if you're a vendor, I think we have a couple of more vendor spaces. So we got a pop-up shop Saturday, and at the RV Solution Center, and that's from 11 to 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so from 11 to 4, come out. Even if you don't have a vendor's table, come out and network. Support Black-owned businesses, man. Come and network with people. Because one of the things I'm going to talk about reasons why you should invest in your education. So we're going to talk tax tips. So before I get into Rick, you know, because it's gonna be, we're gonna get into my man Rick, man, because if y'all not following this man Rick Mathis, make sure y'all follow Rick. He's a steam filmmaker, and his newest film, V1 the movie, is now out. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the Black community. We're gonna talk about coming together, and we talking about high profile. So y'all definitely got to make sure that y'all stay connected with us, because we're going to get into that. And I'm going to get into some more tax tips for y'all, because again, being January, we're getting so many people to call with questions that we then went over 58 million times, but I ain't going to say nothing. But knowing what to write off, what to keep up with, some of the new tax breaks, we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to entertain some of y'all questions. If you have questions, if you have concerns, make sure that you shoot your question to me, man. It's like I did a seminar, well, actually I did 2 over the last 3 days, and the host just kept saying, y'all don't even realize the amount of information and the knowledge that you're getting that Brian is dropping that y'all are getting for free. And I guarantee you the amount of information that I give, the questions that I answer, you will pay thousands of dollars to get this. And I'm going to allow you to ask questions to get things, proactive, because we have to do this. So, definitely make sure that y'all stay connected, man. Get your pens and pencils out, because I know we're going to have some questions for Rick. We got some tax questions. We're going to make sure that y'all follow, because this is going to be impactful. If you truly, truly appreciate the Black community and you want to see us grow, yeah, you definitely want to add somebody. You want to, make sure that you tag somebody to listen in on this, because it's going to be a little disheartening for some people to hear the truth, because a lot of times we don't want to hear the truth. But the truth hurts.
Oh, yeah.
The truth hurts a lot of people, and it's so crazy. And I'm going to tell you about this analogy when we talk about the truth, because they always know I'm going to always give you my truth. And a lot of it, again, it can be opinionated to you, but the one thing about it is I have receipts. So the numbers don't lie, the actions don't lie, the success don't lie. So it can be true. Hey, Miss Shay, you must have knew I was going to call you. I had planned to call you yesterday. So I'm going to definitely reach out to you. But the truth don't lie. And the thing about it is, Black folks don't want to know the truth. And it's so funny, and I say that because a perfect example, it was something that Chris Rock said a while ago. Chris Rock said, the one thing about Black people, they don't want to know, because then they're going to be held accountable to do better. And I was like, wow, that's crazy that he would even mention that. And so lately I've talked to two different people, and we were talking about chicken. And just now, because I haven't eaten beef or pork in like 28 years. And so I've been basically kind of getting away. I'll still bite a chicken here and there, get a piece, but I don't buy chicken. If I'm at an event or something, I might get a wing just to try it. But we were talking about chicken, and I was saying, well, most of these food documentaries come out now, they emphasizing on chicken and about how bad chicken is, and chicken is the worst thing, and this and that. And it was like, oh no, well, I'm not gonna watch it. Because again, even though we know it's bad for us, and we got reports and shows and everything to tell us basically how detrimental it's gonna be, but if we watch it and we know, we're accountable now. But if I never watch it, I don't know that about chicken. I don't know that about chicken. Where that's at? Where you seen that at? And so now I can keep eating it and not be held accountable, because I don't know that they say it has so many pesticides and it has so many. I ain't even because some of y'all will be like, I'm about to log off because I don't even want to know about what they say about chicken. But if you watch, hey, Miss Chanel, if you watch some of these shows now, the documentaries, most of these food documentaries, a lot of it now is about chicken. And again, I want to be held accountable. I want to know, because I want to know what I'm dealing with, what I'm eating, what I'm doing, And so that was just funny that because two people was like, nah, don't tell me about it. I won't watch it, because again, we got to be held accountable. And that's the one thing that Black folk don't want to. We want to say, well, I didn't know, because as long as I say I didn't know, I have an excuse, And so that was funny to me, especially when Chris Rock said that years ago, though. All right. But people, a couple of things we're going to get into, but why you got to invest in yourself. This is so important, man. Like when I listen to rich and successful people, and y'all always hear me say that, rich and successful people. Because again, that's usually who we want to listen to. The problem is, y'all listen to cousins and coworkers. And I always talk about this with taxes. Stop listening to cousins and coworkers. Stop listening to people that don't have the results that you're trying to get. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. So when I say rich and successful people, because that's who we emulate. And I'm talking about real rich and successful people, not your Instagram people, not your people doing the reels, not the people that's giving you all that bad information. Your rich and successful people. They invest. And I had just listened to somebody recently, and they was like, no, it's Dr. Frazier. Dr. Frazier said, was it 25,000? Maybe about 25,000 into his personal development. Like he said he'd take at least 25,000 and invest into his personal development. But that matters. Dr. Frazier is a world-renowned speaker. Rich already, but he's still investing into his now he probably get a lot of free stuff that he come to speak and he learned, but still you got to think that plus another 25,000, but that's powerful. That's powerful. And if you know me, I've been saying for years, I'm gonna set aside at least 15,000 for personal development. Because again, I gotta continuously learn. I can't get comfortable. Because see, the whole premise, what I say, is not really about me. Like when I get to a certain level, then I can't get comfortable and say I'm good. Even though I'll tell you, I don't have to do one more bit of marketing, and my business is gonna grow every year because of referrals, because of people showing love. And that's a beautiful thing. But again, if I say that I really want to uplift people, I got to make abundance of money. Because know what I got to do? I got to take care of me, my circle, and then if I want to help the community. And we always say, well, what I want to do is I want to give back. I want to help people. With what? With what? If you ain't continuously learning, you ain't growing to maximize your money. And as Jay-Z said, you can't help the poor by being one of them. You got to get yourself in a different position. This is why investing in your education, man, is so important. And when I mean education, I don't mean go get a doctorate degree or a master's. Because what happens is nowadays, you're accumulating more debt than you're actually getting. You go out and get a master's that's going to get you $20,000 more, and you're going to use a loan that's going to be $75,000 more to get you an extra 25. Bro, if some of y'all been out of school for 35 years and still paying back that student loan, and the principal is more than it was when you started, that's bananas. So we got to be realistic in our thinking. We got to be realistic in our thinking. And I'm not saying don't go to masters, don't elevate, but think about it. Do the math. Do the math. That matters. You don't hear rich and successful people talking about going back, getting math, to get masters. And, what they talk about now is how can I learn more? Like the one thing that we're going to touch on a little bit that Rick did mention to me 3 times was AI. Was AI. Bro, he ain't talking about, well, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to probably get me a master's. And that's going to get, no, he's talking about AI. He's talking about the things that's changing the future. He's talking about make $1 million at the push of the button stuff. That's where we're at now. So you got to be mindful of the decisions we're making. And you only learn this through going to classes, seminars, investing into your future. And so we're going to get into the tax stuff. Because again, I'm a firm believer that I don't care how much money you make. How much money you make. I'm not impressed until you tell me how much you kept. I've got clients that make $1 million. I've seen businesses make $1 million that have zero at the end of the day. Because if you're not putting money in the right places, if your money is not growing, if you're spending too much buying stuff, yes, we buy a lot of stuff. Yes, we buy a lot of stuff. And this is the debate me and Sean, not Sean, I'm throwing Sean under the bus. Okay, that's a beautiful thing. All right, y'all. Like I tell you, y'all want to be a guest on my Solution Ship podcast because we got people tuning in now. We now I've upgraded your boy, upgraded Keisha and got your boy right. We all on YouTube now, and that was the goal, man. And I hate we're gonna go back and get them last week, so because I still think last week was probably one of the most powerful shows that I've had. Every week I think it's a better show and a great show, but last week I think we touched some folks last week, and that's on the Clubhouse call too. So every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. I do a Clubhouse call with Dr. Tavis Taylor, and that one was crazy last week. So I got the sound. Yeah.
The applause.
Oh, hold on. Oh. Yeah, since your boy say the audience never clap. That's all right. See what happens. See how you adapt. Like we normally have a bigger in studio audience, but now the audience is not as big today. But we got that applause button. See that we modified, baby. That's it. And the biggest thing to win in life is don't make excuses, make adjustments. Shit gonna go wrong. You got to make adjustments. So, that's where we at. But, one of the things that we have to do is really talk to people that understand how money works. And we had this debate probably about three shows ago because my guy got more stuff than we ever had. So we making $1 million a year, but we got a $750,000 house. We got 3 luxury cars. We got more stuff. So now we making more money, but this is why I'm saying, and as Dr. Frazier always say, we basically are doing worse than the last generation before us. And so that is crazy because we're supposed to elevate because now my child don't know 6 figures. Like when we grew up, it was saying, I know you're a young buck, so you don't know about that though. But when I was growing, they was like, oh, 6 figures, we make 6 figures. You got to make 6 figures. But these kids, they don't know 6 figures because they grew up in an environment where they're seeing people got millions in their ages. And so again, we got to understand. We got to understand getting away from stuff, and this is why it's so important you talk to the right people because again. I get praised on my lifestyle, but again, I'm semi-frugal, and I'm very conscious of where my money goes. And I probably got even worse, if you want to call it worse, when it was a situation where I read The Millionaire Next Door, and I found out how millionaires live. I say, you know what? And it was a sign. I'm big on signs, and they said most millionaires, the number one truck for millionaires, automobile for millionaires, is Ford F-150s. I got a Ford F-150. Shit, I like shit. And they say the second most popular car amongst millionaires are Jeep Cherokees. I got a Jeep Cherokee.
Oh, man.
I was on the right track, brother, without knowing it. I'm saying this is before I even knew it. Oh, you wanted that cool? We gotta get a new song. That's the only song that's on there. But again, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't live your life because, and I always be transparent about this. I got a Mercedes 550 as well, but it's been paid for and I'm not living for it. And when I learned after that, I've never bought another luxury vehicle after that because I've been there, done that. And what I said was years ago that, and this is basically through going to seminars, listening to people, bruh, I was like, you know what? Between the luxury cars that I've had, my ex-wife cars, my daughter, I spent over $100,000 on down payments, not the cars, on down payments. And bruh, so my mindset has started shifting to say, you know what, bruh, that's rental properties. That's buildings, that's land. And after that, I would never buy another luxury car. And so again, I'm not saying don't reward yourself with those things, but be smart about it. Be in a position where when you pay a car note, you don't even know it's missing. That's when you're ready. They say if you can't do something twice, then you ain't ready to do it once. So if you ain't ready basically to buy that car twice, don't do it once. And so that matters. But I learned through all that, I learned that through investing in myself, listening to people who helped me grow. So we're going to get into this. The first thing that rich and successful people talk about is education is a lifelong currency. It does not stop. It does not stop. I was listening to Warren Buffett the other day, and the one thing Warren Buffett was talking about, Warren Buffett been investing since the 70s, bro. Do you think he can still do everything the same way he was doing it since the 70s? No. Even though his style of investing is still kind of the same, but he still had to change a lot of different things. Because one of the things, a lot of investors who made money, know what came into the play? Crypto. All of those kind of things, Bitcoin, all those, and people became rich off of that. Because sometimes you have to change with the times. And as Rick keep hitting me with AI, so when we talk about situation and lifelong learning, I'm always at seminars. I'm always at conferences. Well, because in the tax industry, this is changing all the time. One of the reasons why I say that I'm more successful than most people in my industry is because I learned something that I know most people don't learn. And that's business taxes and understanding how business taxes work. Because I get so many tax professionals who come to me to ask me to teach them business taxes. How many times do you see commercials and people say, well, we're business tax experts? You hear them talk about how fast they can get your money back, how big of a refund they can get you a loan. Bruh, everybody's doing that. Nobody's specifically focusing on business tax. So what I had to do, I had to continue my education to learn. Because you know what everybody have now? A business. So if everybody have a business now, they got a side hustle, a primary business or something. So if 75% of the people have either a side hustle or a primary business, and I am a business tax expert, who's gonna make all the money? Who's gonna get all the business? Me. Because if your people don't know, and this is why it's so important to continue your education. Because if I would have just stopped at doing basic returns, then I would have been basic just like everybody else. I would have been doing the same return, competing for the same people. This is how you separate yourself. What's up, Brother Joe? Hey, man, happy birthday to you, brother. I wanted to hit you up earlier, man. And but shoot me your daughter's info directly because I've been wanting to call her. What's up, Brother G? Hey, Keisha. Hey, Darnell. But yeah, shoot me her stuff. And this man reached out to me. He know I don't care. Like, his daughter is getting in the tax business. And he was like, B, my daughter getting in. She need a mentor. Man, I'm like, get me her info, man. And this is what we have to do, people. We have to uplift people. Y'all already know, like, anybody in my industry, I don't see as competition. I'm that OG now, where I'm going to give young people the game and teach them how to run. Because if you're in a position, if I'm scared you're going to take my clients, I ain't doing something right. Bruh, if I've been at this 27 years and you take a client from me, I ain't doing something right. So I ain't never really scared, never been. And you could, I tell y'all every week, you could fact check everything that I tell you. I ain't never been, I've been showing love. And so shout out to Todd Ivory, man, for showing me love for getting in the game. Shout out to Greg Moyer, man, for showing me love when I got in the game. So continuing education is lifelong currency, people. That means if you keep learning, you're going to keep having money. See, currency comes from current. Current means that it's a movement, it's streaming, it's moving. That means your money gonna keep on moving. Your money's not gonna get stagnant. Know how you get in bad positions financially? When your money ain't doing nothing. It ain't growing. It ain't moving. Bro, all of that matters. So we gotta understand that it's very important. So why you should invest in your education? Because education is a lifelong currency. You gotta do this. Personal development is the next thing. Personal development. We gotta understand how personal development is. I mean, how important it is. Personal development, man, is so important. You know, because not only are we growing our business, we're growing as a person. We're growing individually. And you know who people buy into first? You. People buy into you as a person, you know, because I know your character, man. I know how you conduct yourself. When you talk, people listen to you. They ain't, because you ain't coming off like, oh, Lord, here you go. You know, you ain't come, and that matters. So when you get out and you invest in your education, you learn how to interact with people. A lot of y'all in business saying, well, I ain't really no people person. I ain't, but you ain't no marketer. So you don't like people. You don't like marketing. Where your business coming from? So sometimes you got to build your personal development by going out, learning some new stuff, and meeting people. See, personal development and professional development goes out to show you how you can meet with people, how you can interact, how you can sell yourself. You know, professional development gets you on stages. So when you talk about professional development, that means I have stages. I'm developing. So I want to now not only go out and just know how to meet people, how can I get in front of people? So when you start practicing personal development, what happens is your credibility goes up. Because anytime, and y'all already know, when you at events and the people that are on the stage are usually the most credible people. Now, don't get me wrong. They ain't always the smartest. They ain't always the most knowledgeable, but they all get credibility because psychologically, we believe because they on a stage there in front of people, they must know what they're talking about. This is why you got to get personal development so you can get in front of people and you might know what you're talking about. It's so much easier to sell yourself, man, when you develop in all aspects of your profession. Because people will see you as credible. Credible people don't have to find money. Money will find them. The one thing that I always knew in this business, that I had to be credible. People are giving me their social security numbers. People are giving me their bank accounts. Right. You know how much credibility you have to have? And it always surprised me in over 20-something years how really people would give me their information. And most of my clients come through referrals. So that person have already sold a person on how credible I am. But to give somebody your personal information and really don't ask no questions, only them asking you and you not meeting them personally, you know how they have to feel about you? You got to set a hell of an impression. But again, that's the type of security I understood. Even with people knowing my background, they could have easily said, man, you've been incarcerated, you was in jail, you locked up, you know, I don't trust, I ain't giving. But again, people will understand when your credibility is good, when you've understood how to now get personal development and professional development and build that through credibility, people understand that that was a situation, that ain't who you are. You know, and that's what we have to do. And being around people, talking to people who are developing, who are getting to the next level, learning how to handle yourself in certain situations. Personal development is so important, especially, and I don't never really like labeling Atlanta like that. But I always say probably more in Atlanta because you're gonna run into everybody in Atlanta that's a producer, have a business, a director. So people meet so many people that they hear, oh yeah, I heard that already. To where if you don't seem like you're credible, people tuning you out. You know, so this is very important, man, that you factor this, and this is something that never really stops. Never really stops. And it's so crazy because since Thursday night, when we had the event We had the event at Monticello's on Thursday, and I spoke there Thursday, and then I went to a real estate investing seminar on Saturday. Between Thursday and Saturday, I've had 3 people who came meet me today, and I got another person on Friday who want to come and sit down and meet to see how we can work together, see how I can help them from a tax standpoint, and then see how the RV Solution Center can work with them. And that's the type of stuff, people. I didn't have to go looking for money. Money found me. You know, and this is why it's so important when you talk about getting to next levels, because the one thing that we're not doing, we're not talking about doing no average shit. So when I talk to y'all and the things I say, we talking about next level. We've done average for a long ass time. You know, we've done that for a long time. And so we got to start thinking in that capacity. And your personality, your credibility, your everything matters in the development, because people now see their money in a different light. People money is a little funny now, and they're really not that willing to partner with it. Believe me, let me tell y'all something. This might shock a few people, but we ain't getting no more damn stimulus. Right. Let me tell you something. We ain't getting no more damn stimulus. I'm gonna just tell y'all, because you know we was wilding with them stimulus. We was willy with it. You know, people was giving your money like it was like, all right, that's what you do. All right, well, what you need? Because they had that stimulus money. That PPP money, baby. That EIDL money. So let me let y'all know a little something. That money gone. That money gone. Know who they playing with now? They playing with their money. They're playing with their money. And they ain't letting that money go easily, man. So you got to come correct, people. And this is why I want you to elevate where you are. We are in January, the beginning of the year. You have plenty of time to get your personal development together. You have plenty of time to go to network events. And if you don't know where network events are and you follow me, you lying. You lying. Because we give more networking events than anybody. By the end of this month, we've had 4. We've already had 2. We got 2 more in the month of January. We've already maybe scheduled about 3 for February already. So don't tell me, what's up, Lil Dale? Yeah, don't tell me that basically. Hold on. All right, there we go. But yeah, so that's important, people. And everything, and a lot of our events be free. So you have no excuse. No excuse. So personal development, man. If we need to do a class on it, let me know. All right, so, and I'm not going to go through all of them. All right, so this is very important. One of the reasons why you need to continue your education in business and go to events, classes, and everything. They say education does helps you to not get cheated. Because see, a lot of times we get cheated, and we always talk about, you know, you can't do business with people. They're always trying to get over in it. You know, but the thing is, if you said that once, you should never be ignorant twice. So educate yourself on what you're doing or what you're trying to do. If you're in the industry, you don't ever have to worry about nobody getting over on you, because you know your prices, you know your value, you know your return on investment, you know all of those things. So can't nobody cheat you. And value is so important. So when you educated on what you do, you can't get cheated. So my thing is, what I normally tell you is, if you try to come in and dictate your pricing to me on what you're going to pay, what I do is, and I remember back in the day, and I just know this stuff. I'm not that old, but I just know a lot of stuff from back in the day. But if y'all remember MapQuest, you know, if y'all remember MapQuest, I know you two know about MapQuest, but if you know about MapQuest, when clients used to come, and Lil Dale will tell you, Dale basically ran my Houston office for years. He branched out on his own, still killing the game in Texas and Houston. But he'll tell you, I would always tell people, like when they tell me, well, that's too much, I'll pay such and such and 175, or down the street, it was going to charge me 200. My response was, do you need me to MapQuest their address? Because I knew my value, because I was educated on my business. I knew what my returns, I knew what the cost of everything was worth. So I don't ever have to worry about you cheating me. I don't ever have to worry about settling for less. I don't have to worry about taking minimal, because we always talk about value. You know, that's the one thing we always mention. Oh, value, you got to know your value. You got to know your value. But one thing we always do, we're going to give people discount. We don't want to leave money on the table. So you're telling me if my price is $300 and you're going to offer me $200, I don't want to leave that $200 on the table and not get nothing, but I know my value. And see, this is where people are cheating you. Because if you don't really go to classes and seminars and feel strongly in what you do and what you're offering, you're going to get cheated. You're going to get cheated. You know, and so it's inevitable, because you basically are settling for less. But when you're stern and you really know, bro, anytime we know something like the back of our hands, we are very stern about it. We're very stern about it. Because we know we're going to get other people. We're not going to allow you to cheat us for our work. And that is so important. That is so important. All right, the last thing I'm going to talk about on this, because I'll talk about some things next week. I'll bring some more up next week. But going to networking events, understanding how important educating yourself is, continuing your education, again, because you know why that's so important? Because the communication factor. I get 90% of my clients because I can articulate my craft to people where they understand. Most of the time, and I'm gonna give you an example, I speak a lot. Like last year, I probably didn't speak as much because I was traveling. I was gone a lot. Because I'm trying to get to them 100 countries, man. And I'm trying to get there, but they be calling me. So I didn't get it. So I still spoke over 40 times last year. But one of the things that I think I have the gift of, and this is not because I was born with it. I think I gained this gift through going through seminars, through education, through practicing, is the fact that I can break taxes down to where anybody can understand. And most people in my industry don't have that. I listen to people talk on taxes, and I just be shaking my head, and I be looking around the room. People be so lost. People be so lost. I don't know. I gotta learn these buttons. Yeah. So people be lost, bruh. So you gotta understand what happens is people are very simple. People are very simple. When you start complicating things, you scare the average person away. And I ain't going to say when we talk about average, you like, well, I'm above average because I got a master's. Masters don't know this tax shit. Doctors don't know this. You might be a little bit more intelligent because you book smart. But when it comes to basically stuff that you are not a professional in, you don't know this on like the back of your hand like I do. But the gift that I have, I can break this down. And I always say, and this is going to be 90% of y'all listening who haven't heard me talk about this before. When we talk about S corporations, we always talk about LLCs. Everybody heard of LLCs. And when I talk about S corporations, I say, how many of y'all heard of S corporations? 90% of people going to hold their hand up and say, I heard about it. My question after that is, how many of y'all know how it works? 90% of people don't know how it works. And when I break it down, they be like, oh my God, like I've heard people talk about S corporations forever. I heard them talk about it and it should help me, but I never really knew how. And I've heard multiple people talk about it because again, people can't simplify it. And you know why I'm able to simplify all of this stuff, even the so-called complex stuff? Because I've been to all of these different seminars and conferences and listen. I've practiced speaking it. So my communication to you now is simplified. And we want simplified. We want simplified. And ladies, I'm gonna tell y'all, like y'all be talking about a man wants you to chase him and he wants you to. No, we want simplify. All that chasing, we get old. That's too much work. Simplify. Simplify. That matters. The more you become a better communicator, the more people you're going to attract. People do not listen very long to things. They will tune out quick. And I always tell you, watch how fast they don't have their phone up, and watch how fast they tune out and you ain't getting no relevant information or no relatable information. Watch how that phone start coming up. And they're like, oh, we taking notes. I ain't taking no damn notes. And I don't mind if you pick your phone up. Just go live with me. Yeah, just go live. But, this is so important, people. We got to understand. I put something out last week. And this is, somebody asked me that. They're like, B, why you did only $50? I told people I would do a business evaluation for you. I would do a business evaluation and a 2-hour call for you, basically for Black History Month. And that means in January, people, every month is Black History Month, okay? So January Black History Month, I was doing a $50 business evaluation. And I only had 3 people to sign up. 3 people. And I said I only wanted 10. So don't tell me you're serious about winning, about learning, about elevating, when you have somebody that, again, 85-90% of y'all deem me as successful, that you praise me, that you give me all these accolades, but you don't make an investment in yourself of $50 from somebody who's going to spend 2 hours with you? Because y'all already know how I think about 2 hours. That's 2 hours on the travel site that I could be doing, looking at trips. People, we got to understand how investing in your education is so important to your ultimate success. It matters. Education matters. And when I talk about that, not that I disown working people and going to school, but I'm a pro entrepreneur. So most of the time when I talk in that aspect I'm talking about entrepreneurs, business owners. Education matters. Understanding your craft fully matters. A lot of y'all are basically, because you're not educated on your business and you're not getting updates, you're not learning who's your targeted market. You out here shopping and selling to people that don't need your service. And you're wondering why. You're wondering why people are basically not buying, not soliciting. Getting educated helps you find out and identify who should I be marketing to? Who's my targeted client? People, that matters. That matters. Know that if everybody's your client, then nobody's your client. That's a saying in business. Remember that. If everybody's your client, then nobody's your client. Because see, the thing is that I understand my targeted market is business owners in real estate. Not that I don't do low-income people. If low-income clients come to me, I'm gonna treat them the same. I'm gonna give them everything. But I understand that the information and the knowledge that I've had over 27 years don't serve them the same purpose. Because if you just have a W-2 with a couple of kids, it ain't much that I can educate you on. Until you basically get a house, unless you say, Brian, I want to look at getting a house in a couple of years. How do I need to construct my taxes? Do I need to have more money taken out? Do I need to put some money here? Oh, I'm looking to start a business. But a lot of times your stuff is cut and dry. People who have houses, real estate, businesses, they need to know, how do I position myself with my taxes to go get a loan, a line of credit, buy property, buy a building. That matters, Rick. That matters, man, because again, it's all about positioning. Because see, we ain't paper strong. Because we caught up in the refund. The refund. And I'm not saying everybody shouldn't get a refund, but if you're trying to make moves, are you willing to sacrifice that refund for legacy? And that's what we're going to talk about, man. This is why I wanted to bring my brother Rick Mathis here, man, because, you know, all of his talks, all of his movies, all of his connections about legacy. And we throw that word around a lot, legacy and generational wealth. We throw that away. We throw it around a lot. And I told you, I'm going to probably say this every show. Generational wealth, we don't even realize what generational wealth is. Generational wealth is my daughter's daughter have the same money. That money just transferring over because she can't spend enough of it. She can't spend it all. That's generational, people. You know how important it is that you start right now. You're trying to build that kind of wealth. That is extremely important. So we got to understand, we got to start positioning now, man. We got to start putting ourselves in place now. And this is why, again, you know, and we're going to get into it a little bit too, but I keep saying, like, Daniel Hines, man, again, my insurance brother, my client, bro, he hit me when he hit me with this, even though I've been saying it, but he woke me up with it when he said, when I die, my son's going to be an instant millionaire. Bro, that hit me because I've been saying it about my daughter for years, but I hadn't really been talking about it. But when he said it, it blessed my heart because, again, understanding the power of generational wealth and giving chances because he understands life insurance. You know, which is, again, I talked about this last week or the week before, how easy it is to build this. Because just think, if 25 of us, 25 people get their child $1 million policy. And as I keep telling y'all, a lot of people don't believe this, don't want to believe it. We're going to die one day. We're going to die. I don't know when, I don't know how, but we're going to die. But just think, if we die, 25 people die over the next, let's say, 50 years. Bro, we done created 25 new millionaires. 25 new millionaires. That means now we can compete. The reason why we're losing, because we can't compete with these other, because the whites, the Asians, the Indians, they got grandparent funds. They got all these different funds to where when they get out of college, $100,000, boom, $500,000. They already, so they don't have to take 10 years to build a business up. They don't have to take 5 years to build a business up. Because if I got $100,000 to invest in a house, I can almost buy a house cash. Don't have to worry about a note, 9 slaving to pay for a house. That matters because if anybody have a 5 to 10 year head start on you, you ain't catching them. You ain't catching them. Bruh, this is crazy. This matters. 25 people, 25 people. They got a head start, man. I hope that made sense to some of y'all. All right. Also, shout out to Unity National Bank, one of the black-owned banks in Atlanta. They 60 years in business out of Houston. They've been in Atlanta now for 5 years, and they really trying to get their name in the marketplace. We're doing some big names with them. In fact, anybody who was going with us tomorrow to open up bank accounts with them, we actually going to push that to next week. If you want to go, hit me up. I got the applications, but this is what we need. For the personal side, all you need is your ID, your real ID, your real ID, not the one that you be doing. I ain't gonna say we on camera. So, but again, hit me up and have an ID if you're doing your personal. But if you have your business, listen up. This is why we're moving it to next week, because a lot of people don't have their original IRS tax ID number letter. When you get your tax ID, they send you a letter. EIN and tax ID is not the same thing. So if you get that letter, you need to have that with your articles from the Secretary of State. Your articles need to be updated, people. If it says administratively dissolved, you might want to take care of that. We got a week to get that updated, and you have a week to get your letter from the IRS. You can call them at 1-800-829-1040. That's 1-800-829-1040. And they have a prompt on there where you can request a copy of the original tax ID letter. The easiest way to do it is call them. And I know some of y'all don't have a fax or don't know what a fax is, because we got a lot of young people out here. But they'll fax you the letter directly. And you don't have to wait through the mail, because we don't know what we're going to get through the mail and if it's going to come back timely. But if you don't have access to a fax, we have digital fax at our office. What we will try to do is help you and somehow get them to fax the letter to us, so you can have that letter. But this is important, man, that we understand how banks work, and especially supporting the black banks, because we get a lot of bad reps with black banks. So we say black banks don't help, they don't support. You know why? We don't invest. You know what black banks, know how banks work? The money that they get as deposits, they use that money to lend out to do loans and lines of credit. They can't give you no loans or lines of credit if we ain't putting nothing in there. And you know who not putting their money in black-owned banks? White folks. You know who not putting their money in black-owned banks? Indians. Know who not putting their money in black-owned banks? Asians. So we got to help them help us. And the one thing that I've really been on them about, and they say they really want to do it, even before I kind of mention it, they want to be the source to help us succeed, move forward, get in position to get capital. Because the two things that we're lacking in business that's stopping our businesses from growing is the lack of capital and the lack of marketing. We don't want to pay for marketing, but maybe if we get some capital, we'll be willing to pay for marketing so people we can know that we're there, and now we can move to the next level. And we're going to talk about that next week, that whole, well, I don't want to owe nobody. I don't want no debt. That's ignorance, people. And I mean that in the sense of we're not educated on how that works. So we'll talk about good debt and bad debt next week, because there is a such thing. I want to owe somebody, because know why? I want to play with their money and not mine. Because if that business don't work, know who money I lost? Their money, not mine. If I can use their money to triple my money and pay them back their money, that's a no-brainer to me. So shout out to Unity Bank, man, for wanting to work with us. I got some good news on a project that I'm doing with them today. You know, so I got to just finalize some things, and we're gonna see some nice things going on. All right, man. So before we get into my man Rick again, like I say, man, like, bro, this is crazy. Y'all don't even understand, bro. Like, I'm big time now. I'm big time now, man. I've been knowing this cat for years, man. This cat did commercials for me. You know, yes, and he could, well, I don't know, you still do commercials? Because I know you big time, baby.
Hey, man, I produce content.
All right, it's okay.
Yeah, so commercials, documentaries. I primarily don't specialize in documentaries.
Okay, but it's okay, brother, because let me tell you something. You can't be everything to everybody.
You're right.
Because you're moving, you on, I'm talking about major movie level now. And not that you don't want to help people, but if you're doing great things, it's hard to back down and come to that. So just like I say, I don't market to low-income individuals. Because again, if I took time marketing to people who are going to pay me $300, how would I ever get $1,000 returns? I'm going to minimize those returns so I can do less work and get more money, which now my time is freed up. And that's our greatest asset.
That's right.
So that's why that's so important. And there's nothing wrong with it. So it's okay to ask. What I always say is have somebody if it was a situation where you got so big and you said, I couldn't, not that I don't want to, that I don't appreciate, I just don't have the time. I tell people, find understudies. If you don't want to leave money on the table, find an understudy. Teach that person what you know and let them do the smaller stuff. And you break bread. You say, all right, well, give me 20% of that. All I did was refer. To get 20% for telling somebody, people, that's a win. I've learned now the power of basically now understanding that collaboration part of it. I've always collaborated in business, but I've always said, you know what, man, look, just show my people love. You don't have to kick me back nothing. But now I'm partnering with so many people that I'm showing love to, and they kick it back, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a plane ticket. Oh, oh, hold up, that's a trip. Like, that's an island. Like, you send me, like, some people didn't send me a Zelle. I'm like, oh shit, that's a Turks and Caicos. You know, and so that's how I look at stuff now. Like, I got a free trip. I get what I do what I love to do on somebody else's dime through basically collaborating. Bruh, and so if you don't want to leave money on the table, I tell people, train people to do what you do and get a piece of it. And you can't ever lose like that. All right, so I want y'all to be, because you know what we do? We send warnings too, man. We try to protect the people. And so there's something that's taxosexual. So if you got to understand there's taxosexuals out there. And a taxosexual is a person that dates you for the sole purpose to get your refund. So people, I'm just telling you, ladies, I don't call nobody big. I don't say big girl. I'm just like thickish. If you thickish, like the guys from the island say, like if you thickish, and you starting to get a lot more attention during tax time, I'm just saying, be leery, because that person might be a taxosexual. So I'm just telling you. So look for this word, man. Be conscious of this.
Taxosexual.
Yeah. So they just try to holler. They try to holler for your refund.
You need to copyright that.
Yeah, they trying to get a Turks and Caicos. Hey, how many kids you have? How many kids you have? Like, all right. No. And I'm just saying, we got a singles event that's coming up February 17th. Now this is serious. We do have a singles, like Valentine's week. We got one of the top relationship experts coming back. If y'all know Elam B. King, Elam was on the show a few weeks ago, and he's a relationship expert. And we talk about relationship with to money and everything. But we're doing an event here at the RB Solution Center for Valentine. We're looking for singles. We always have a problem with guys, but I'm just saying, ladies, if you got a couple of kids and you got a W-2, I'll let your boy. Come on through. Come on through. Singles. Yeah. So, but we'll post that. Make sure that y'all follow, man. So again, if y'all not following me, follow me at RichBoi, RichBoiJUP1. RichBoi Jupe, RichBoiJUP1. And they always ask me like what RichBoi stands for and where RichBoi, and like people think it's all about my lifestyle, and it's partially about the lifestyle, but it's more about the passion. RichBoi stands for really interested in caring how businesses operate internally. Because again, this is my passion, man. I want to help people grow their business, maximize their business, but if we don't have that internal part, see, we understand foundation on everything else. When we have relationship, the foundation of the relationship has to be strong. When we build a house, the foundation has to be strong. But we don't understand that from business. Your foundation has to be strong. You know, that's very important. So again, man, come on out, follow me. We'll keep posting. Follow the RB Solution Center. The RBSolutionCenter.com is the website. It's the same on Instagram and Facebook. Go and do it. This is what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to go to the website, the RB Solution Center .com, and look at our virtual tour. Look at it, and then give me a comment. Y'all come back, and you might have to do it while we're on the live, but shoot us an email and let us know what y'all think. Look at the facility and let us know what y'all think, as well as if you're looking for taxes, lbtaxservice.com. If you have questions, concerns, I don't trip on, consultations and questions and even if you have somebody and you have questions, then definitely you can call me, you can reach out. If you have more than one question, I'm just saying, if you have a tax person and you hit me up for multiple questions, I'm just saying, like, I ain't saying you need to switch, but I'm just saying. All right. Brother Rick Mathis.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, young blood?
Hey, man, I'm just soaking up game, man. You dropping jewels, man.
Nah, man, like, but it's all about the circle, man. I listen to your stuff, I watch your stuff, videos over time for years. And realistically, when you have people like you that you can listen to, and the people you talk to, and the people that you refer, if you keep doing that over year after year after year, that becomes who you are. So I appreciate you, man, for always putting stuff out there and connecting us with people who are thought leaders. That's so important. So before we get into how you got you there, let us know, give us a little bit about you.
So how y'all doing this evening? My name is Dr. Rick Mathis. I'm a filmmaker from the West Side.
Before you get there, I'm sorry, everybody. I said it a couple of times, and Dr. Rick Mathis.
Thank you.
Dr. Rick Mathis.
There you go. The hand claps. So again, my name is Dr. Rick Mathis. I'm a filmmaker from the west side of Atlanta, Georgia. For all my bougie people, that's Cascade. For my educated gangsters, that's Adamsville. And for my freedom fighters, that's West End. So graduate of Frederick Douglass High School, went to school with Killer Mike. A lot of people like that. A lot of great people went to that school, man. Dexter King, I just found out, was a graduate of Frederick Douglass High School. So shout out to the Astros and Dr. Hill, who was the principal over there. But I'm a filmmaker, man, and I got into filmmaking as a result of performing spoken word poetry. So I went to school for music management and marketing and started performing around the city. Long story short, I put a lot of people, I was responsible for putting a lot of people on Deaf Poetry on Broadway. Managed one poet in particular that was on HBO's Deaf Poetry and went on to win a Tony Award, a Peabody Award, and an Emmy Award. And we toured that literally around the globe. And after that was done, I was like, well, what's the next step? So the next step for me was, let's take these poets and let's put them now in a documentary, because once this internet, the bandwidth can withstand video, and we can place these videos on the internet, it's going to be out of this world, man. Because, back in the day, at this particular time, we had AOL dial-up. And you remember with AOL dial-up?
I remember that old.
Yeah, you didn't that old. I know.
That old.
But you remember, you sound like you're on the beach. Then you'll be online, welcome to AOL. So I saw that, man, and I said, man, I need to really get into filmmaking and really telling our stories. So hence, that's where I am today, man. Just a storyteller, a griot, a digital griot. It's really telling our stories, man. I call myself the documentary king because I utilize these documentaries to checkmate the opposition.
I like that, brother. I like that when you talk about checkmating the opposition. And I like your fumes, because what I like about what you talk about, the people you interview, they're not scared. See, I think right now our problem is we're scared to ruffle feathers.
Okay.
We're scared to ruffle feathers, and that's what I like about all your films that you've done, the people you talk to. That, man, I don't care. Like, what you gonna do that you haven't done to me?
Yeah,
And so I read something, and even with watching the movie, and I watched it a couple of times, man. And again,
which movie is that?
B1 the movie. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So B1 the movie, which is your most recent one, right?
Yes, with Dr. S.H.Y.T and a host of others, man.
Yeah. So how did B1 the movie come about?
Man, so I was in the studio editing. I got a phone call from Dr. S.H.Y.T, and he said, "What project you're working on now? I got this idea. I want to produce a documentary for the B1 movement." Now, B1, for those who don't know, means Black First. You know what I'm saying? So Black First.
Repeat that again.
Over everything. Black First. That's what B1 means. It's on my shirt right here.
All right.
This is our discreet logo. You can wear this anywhere, and nobody won't know unless they know. B1. But so he asked me, what do you have going on? And do you have time to produce a documentary? And I said, yeah, certainly, man. We have been talking about working together for a minute now. And so when I got that call, I was like, hey, let's make it happen. So we put up money. I put up money, and long story short, we did a joint venture on this film right here. I know you see a CD, but this is actually a digital product with a QR code. Has a custom QR code for the movie, custom QR code for the soundtrack that's in here. But this is a collector's item because we don't want to put it online and then it somehow gets deleted if it's just a digital product. So we produced that, but not only did we produce the movie and the soundtrack, my wife and I wrote this 140-page curriculum. Miss Isha, shout out to Miss Isha. We wrote a 140-page curriculum that parallels the movie. So we have exercises in this book.
That's dope.
That goes with the movie, but it also has QR codes in here. So you can scan a QR code and you can, it'll take you to a scene in the movie. You can scan the QR code in the movie, it'll take you to the curriculum or the exercise in the book. So we created B1 the movie, B1 the soundtrack, and B1 the curriculum.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I'm trying to think if I've ever heard. Is that the first of its kind? Or
yeah, this is the first of its kind, man. And we're marketing it, we're hosting events. Thank you. We're hosting events around the country. We just had a sold out event in Cincinnati with Yaki Awaken. We had an event, Kwanzaa event here in Atlanta. We had a sold out premiere in August. And we'll be traveling to Philly. We got an event coming up in Philly on the 23rd of February. And then the following week, we'll travel to San Diego at the World Beat Culture Center and facilitate these exercises and these workshops. And we'll really get into some of those exercises, some of the films. And also, man, we're going to be doing something with RichBoi right here at the R&B Solutions Center, man.
Right.
Black History Month.
Yes.
With B1 movie. So, we're really excited about it, man. We're having fun, talking to people about B1 and about, putting Black first. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? See, my narrative is a little different. I graduated from Frederick Douglass High School. And my mom moved me to Atlanta. She's no longer here with us now, but she made a transition. So I live for her and have a foundation in her name. But she moved us to Atlanta when I was 14 years old, me and my brother. And it was like coming from a small town where mostly white people ruled everything.
Yeah.
Like people were mayors, like people were fire chiefs, this, that, and the third. So moving to Atlanta and moving to the west side of Atlanta, that's why I always say the west side of Atlanta, because it was a culture shock for me, man. I went from having a white principal to having a Black principal, Dr. Samuel Hill. I went from having a white mayor, Rainwater, to having a Black mayor, Maynard Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So I went from having a white fire chief, a white police chief, to having a Black fire chief, a Black police chief. And I went from a predominantly white school to a predominantly Black high school where we had one white boy. And if you close your eyes and listen to him, you thought he was Black. And we had one little Asian girl that never spoke. I never hear her speak. She bought her books. And she went to her class, she didn't say nothing. But this school was 99% Black. And it taught you about Black excellence. Dr. Samuel Hill said, be proud to be Black. Every morning he would get on the intercom and he would give us a new word. That's where T.I. gets, studying these words every day, these big words that people don't normally use in conversation. That's why Killer Mike is such an eloquent speaker, because he used to speak at assemblies at Frederick Douglass High School. You know what I'm saying? So I went to a school of Black excellence, and it made me feel proud. It made me, have a sense of Black self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, I said, man, I really got to make other people be proud of their Blackness. Because sometimes I feel that, sometimes Black people don't like being Black. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I want to put that first, because guess what? They're going to put it first when they see me. They're going to say the Black tax guy. They're going to say the Black guy that owns the building over there. in Cobb County. They're gonna see your color first. So you put that first and be proud of who you are, man. Yeah, exactly. Stand on that 10 toes
Okay.
down. Stand on business.
Okay.
Stand on black business.
Stand on
You feel
black
me?
business.
Say it
We
again.
standing on blackness.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
But again, that's why I'm unapologetic when I put this on the market and stuff and said the all-inclusive black-owned co-work space. You know, and I think a lot of people are scared to say that because they think, well, first of all, if you work at a job, I've been saying this for years, people who work jobs, they definitely don't want to ruffle people's feathers. So that's why they never really will say nothing, you know, in the workplace. You know, they'll keep quiet on stuff because if it's a black situation, a black issue, they're not going to speak on it because we're scared that we're going to ruffle feathers and we're going to have consequences. And I think the easiest way to not have consequences is have a game. And ain't nobody gonna mess with you. So if it's 1,000 black people, I'm bolder now. And even if I lost my job, if we understood we put black first, we're not letting no black people fall. See, that's what other communities do, because if Tom loses his job, oh, Tom, call me Monday. You know, I got something for you. You know, and we don't have that. If we had that, we can stand up for ourselves because I'm not worried about you if you fire me because I know my community have me. That's right. And that's why B1 is so important, man. That's why I tell people, I don't give a shit if I alienate anybody because I always say, I don't like on the movie, somebody said, I don't dislike nobody. I'm not anti nobody. I'm just pro-black.
Just black first.
And again, I can say that because black folks is the reason why I've been super successful for super long. So black folks have showed me a good life. So I'll never basically say that blacks don't support. They do support. I think we need to come together more.
We just need to circulate those dollars.
And circulate the dollar. So we're gonna get into that a little bit as well. Talking about circulate the dollar. I know every movie that you've done, that's been a target of conversation.
Exactly.
I've been to some of the premieres, and even when they do the Q&As, that always come out, and they just talk about how the black dollar is only circulated 6 hours. You know, to everybody else it's 6 days, 2 weeks, or whatever. And I was listening to something, and it said this was at a school in California, and this just to show togetherness. And they were saying that this was a prestigious school. And one of the teachers went to the administration and they said, why are the blacks doing mediocre in the classes and the Asians are excelling? Are the blacks not, are the brains much smaller? They were like, are the brains much smaller? And they was like, no, to get into this particular school, you gotta be smart. And it's like, well, why are they excelling? They said they did a survey and kind of monitored. Every black person that pretty much was studying on their own. All the Asians would study in groups.
Wow.
And they talked about how much more effective group studying is than individual studying. And that translates to where we are in the real world. Like if we come together, group economics, group studying, group everything is much better. So why is it you think that we have such a hard problem coming together and really understanding or trusting?
Man, well, let me tell you something. Black people in America has gone through something that no other race on this planet has gone through and survived. So we need to clap for that.
Oh yeah.
We have gone through something that no other race and no other group on this planet has gone through and survived. The amount how the babies were fed to alligators. You know what I'm saying? The amount of trauma that we've gone through as black people from what we've been through, we're victims of identity theft. Our land, our language, and our legacy has been stolen from us. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, we started from ground zero. We started with nothing, but guess what? We're still on the hills.
Yes.
And we're still relevant today, and we're still influencing the culture and influencing the trends. don't nothing move like Ashcast said in the film. Yeah,
Snoop, the music, everything.
Everything. You know what I'm saying? So we still influencing the trends. We still set the tones, and we've invented majority of the stuff that we use today in America. You know what I'm saying? So black people are resilient and amazing people, but at the same time, we've gone through a certain amount of trauma that no other race has gone through. And that trauma, the residue of that trauma, is what creates the distrust, the self-hate. It creates those things, but we're in a time and an age where we're coming around and we're pulling through that. And now we're persevering and we're rising above that. So that is there, but that's why fields like this, B1, is important, because we talk about what is it going to take for black people to get on code and put black people first, because it's a code that we have to get on. It's an unspoken code. And we put the definition of what it means to be on code in this film. And I can read the definition for you real quick. But we put that in the film, you know what I'm saying? So it's time for black people to get on code and put black first. And what does get on code mean? Being on code simply means being sensitive to what the black society needs to survive and thrive, and putting those needs first and foremost before one's personal needs. That's what it means to be on code. When you look at when Trayvon Martin was killed and George Zimmerman was on trial, right? When he first got arrested, what was the first thing white people did? They raised millions of dollars
for his defense.
For his defense. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have to go have a meeting or go in the street and march about that. They reached in their pocket and they say, we on code. We're going to stand behind you. So we talk about that in the film, and that's what we as black people have to do. You know what I'm saying? We have to be like those ants. You know what I'm saying? When it's something, when there's a threat in the community, we strike back. You know what I'm saying? That's what ants do. Ants, if you tear down their ant pile today, come back tomorrow, it's going to be real. Yeah. Right back. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's a code. That's a code of conduct. So that's what I mean when I say put black first. Get on code, but we're getting on code in all areas of health, relationships, when it comes to media, the type of music we listen to, the type of music that we support, the type of films that we watch, the type of films we support, how we portray ourselves in social media. You know, right now I saw some little kids twerking. You know what I'm saying? On a stripper pole. And I'm
I got a class.
I know y'all saw that.
They got a class.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's off code. And we have to address that. We got to talk about that. Because at the end of the day, what that's doing is that's teaching that young girl is the way to get her money is with her body. Mm-hmm. When at the end of the day, the body is precious. If you use what's between right here, that's going to make you more money than your body will, because your body going to get old, your body going to wear out.
Yeah, but a lot of times the issue what I find is we don't believe that. We don't believe mentally we can compete with everybody else, because we've been sold that their ice is colder, that they're smarter. So when it comes to the mind things, we're not looking to exceed them in that capacity, because we feel like we're not going to get a chance. And what I tell people is, if I ever need a job from any of y'all, and y'all put me in HR, just know your company will be black after that. Because on code, I'm hiring black folks.
Yeah.
And I ain't saying anybody, but if you qualify and you versus somebody else, I'm probably gonna hire you. Yeah. Just because you're black. And I don't think we do that, because we take white people hire white people because they white.
Exactly.
Asians hire Asians because they white.
Because they're Asian.
I mean, because they're Asian, yeah. You know, and so we got to understand, when we get in position of authority, sometimes you got to abuse that to win, because they
not abuse stuff.
And I ain't gonna say, well, not abuse. That's a harsh word.
If you're hiring black people that are qualified and that are excellent, if you're hiring black people, so say for example you have a black person that has his bachelor's degree, you got a white person that got his master's degree. That's the only difference right there. But if you have that black person, that's not abuse. That's just saying, I want to hire somebody black because I want black people around me. White people do it all the time.
Yeah, and I say that in the sense of abuse because, again, by society standards, a master is supposed to be higher than a bachelor. So the person with the master is normally going to get the job.
Exactly.
But in my thing, I'm like, your personality was better.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I'm hiring
that's
you.
What they do.
And that's what they do. And that's cold. Like right there, that's what we have to do. You know, I saw the potential in him.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we have to do. And I think we're scared to do that because, again, when we talk about this, man, what's some of the steps that we can take to start transitioning? Because I tell people, I wasn't mad at Trump that he hired his brother-in-law and he hired, you know, somebody else in his family. Because you know what I would do if I was president?
Do the same thing.
You should.
Yeah,
you should. If I got that kind of rank,
that know you,
if I got that kind of rank, I'm hiring people. I'm putting people that I know that's on. You know, and that's what we have to do more of. We got to give people like us a chance. You know, and everything ain't gonna work out perfect, but I guarantee you, like, we got to be intentionally black. And I talk about this all the time. I post and I tell you, and y'all already know. I tell people, you probably can't name nobody that support black as long as I have intentionally supported black businesses. You know, and I intentionally do this everything. And shout out to Percy, man. Like I always talk about Percy. You know, and Percy sent me his list. And Percy, everybody that Percy worked with is black owned. Insurance, car dealer, mechanic, whatever it is. And I'm the same way. And we have to be like that. Even if I go to a white establishment, a restaurant, or a store, I'm looking for a black salesperson. Because if I'm going to give that tip to somebody, I'm going to give it to somebody that look like me that can help their family. You know, if I'm going to give somebody that sale, and we have to be that intentional. And I think that's where the transformation has to start, is being extremely intentional. And so this is why creating our own, this is why I love, you know, Be One the movie, because it talks about creating your own. It talks about doing those things. All right, but somebody, how do we transition? Because I forgot who it was in the movie, but they said one of the problems that we have is we don't think big enough. We don't risk enough, and we don't think big enough. I think that's something that can be extremely important to our growth as a community. So where is that mindset of just doing enough and all that comes, and how do we transition to the big thinking?
I think the first thing we have to do is we really have to be honest with, you know, what's been passed down, the trauma that's been passed down. And we have to heal from that trauma. You know, we were just talking in here earlier about doing the sound bathing. You know what I'm saying? Sound bathing is a form of healing that allows you to go within and to heal those wounds. You know what I'm saying? And heal that trauma that has been passed down, because it has been passed down. So we have to go through this healing process, and when we really love ourselves and we really love black people. I produce Black B1 in an episode, so I have 5 episodes. Episode 4 says, is it racist for black people to put black people first? And in that episode, we touch on what we have to do in those areas to put black people first. So we have to have self-preservation, self-love, and self-care. So to answer your question, those are some of the things we have to address. We have to look at, how do we have self-preservation? How do we have self-care? How do we practice self-love? So in the book, there's a Hawaiian prayer called Ho'oponopono, which is a prayer that focuses on forgiveness. It says, I forgive myself. I'm thankful for what I have. I apologize for the wrongs that I've done and the wrongs that others have done to me. That's the type of therapeutic healing that we as black people have to have in order for us to fall in love with ourselves again and to fall in love with being black again. Those are the type of things that we have to, that we got to focus on and really spend time doing and get into those dark places.
Yeah.
And revive ourselves and rejuvenate ourselves.
Yeah, and that's important that you said that, because 2 of the individuals I reached out to definitely be on the show coming up are therapists. You know, because I think that's a lot of it. What I'm realizing over time And I noticed it years ago when I was incarcerated. What I realized was we had a program that they would ask you to go through. And it was a program to try to dig deep into why you here and why you doing things. And, and so a lot of cats didn't want to go to it because it would always come out somebody was in there crying and they broke down. And so cats like, I ain't going to that, man. All they want to see cry and talk about you, But so I went. I was like, all right, let me see what it's about. It was a weekend course. So day one, everybody super hard. Everybody's listening to the people. Day two, they kind of digging into it. By day three, like you say, some of the hardest dudes on the compound, they breaking down, bro. They breaking down because now they digging into the trauma. And this is the first time I realized people hold so much stuff from a kid. Like I'm listening to grown ass men who want to be the man on the compound. Now, my daddy never loved me. He always told me I wasn't gonna be shit. My mama, and so you getting all this, and I'm like, damn, this is when I realized, man, that people carry so much stuff as a child. And I was like, wow, that blew me away. So it always kind of stuck with me. And as I started getting older and kind of growing from it, and I'm seeing women based on past relationships, guys, and I'm like, man, the reason why we can't progress in a lot of areas because we've never dealt with what we. So when you saying this, bro, I'm like, damn, all that really makes sense of why, because we hitting a mental block sometimes when we want to progress. And then something in us, because if somebody always told me I wasn't gonna be shit, or been taught in a white school or white society that I wasn't, when I start making moves, subliminally, what I learned is people will say, I'm supposed to be doing this. Something gonna go wrong because this not meant for me. And so, yeah, it's very important, man, that we have people to come in and talk about trauma, that you actually sit and meet and talk to therapists and nothing else. The movies, I think for me, I can't say that I necessarily had a lot of traumas growing up, but mentally, I think I was at one level because I was told people I was raised by the street, even though my mom, my dad was there, but still a lot of the lessons that I was taught was from the street.
Impressions were really impressed upon you.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that I know now and I'm doing in the progression that I have, all that basically comes from listening to your films and watching documentaries and listening to the Boyce Watkins over time and the Dr. Frazier's. And I'm gonna tell you who I really love, Dr. Claude Anderson.
Oh yeah, Dr. Claude Anderson.
I love Dr. Claude Anderson, bro. Like he real folks, and he really gonna get you. And I'm gonna tell you who I really started watching and liking now is Dr. John Hope.
Yeah, John Hope Bryan.
Okay. Yeah, John Hope Bryan. I like John Hope Bryan. And so consistently over time, because I started with Les Brown, and then I started connecting with E.T. them, and started doing stuff with them. And so my mind getting shaped, and so it helped you, whatever you. So this is why the environments are so strong, man. That's why it's so beneficial for people to connect with you, buy the movie, and then follow this, because when you consistently hear this over time, you realize, damn, no, I'm not the only one that been through something, and so that's why I commend you for that, man. Something was stated in, and man, let me tell you, this was so powerful, and this kind of hit me when I heard it. They said, when white people were at their worst, blacks were at their best. And that was powerful because in a sense of black people, and what they meant by that, when white people were really nasty, mean, ugly, hateful, deceiving against us, we were at our best because we stuck together. We created our own business, our own stores, our own thing. Do you think that we can get back to that as far as our ownership aspect? Because I believe that ownership is the key to wealth.
Yeah, I mean, I do think we will get back to it. I think, sometimes we have to go through things in order to overcome. If you look at the pandemic, and how the pandemic brought about a certain amount of change, I feel like there's going to be another pandemic, but I think this pandemic is going to be 3 to 4 times worse than that first pandemic, because it's going to be an economic pandemic.
With no stimulus, people.
Yeah, with no stimulus.
With no stimulus.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a pandemic crisis where there's a COVID-19, then it's going to be a war pandemic that happens too. So I think that's the thing that's going to push Black people to really unite and come together. Also, like if you look at what's going on now in the world, you're having more families and more children moving back home and staying together because rent is astronomical. I was just at a restaurant today and the lady came in passing out pamphlets saying, we don't want this bill to pass. I think it's Bill 152, or we want this bill to pass to regulate rent, because rent right now in Atlanta for a one bedroom is like $1,600, $1,800 a month if you're staying downtown Atlanta, in a certain radius of downtown Atlanta. So I think that is going to bring Black people closer together, because we're going to have to lean on each other and depend on each other to survive. We no longer will we be able to be in the big house in the suburb by ourselves, because you're going to be able to afford that. So you're going to have to be in a house with your other family members and lean on them in order to survive what's coming down the pipe. So I think, I think it's going to take something like that to bring us back together.
But answer this: how detrimental? I have a problem with this, and I think we're the only race of people that says, "You 18 now, you grown. What you gonna do? You 19 now, you grown. What you gonna do?" And I tell people, still look at, when you say 19, it's still a teenager. So we are the only race of people that would throw our kids to the wolves at those ages. You're not self-sufficient at 18, even though you're a college graduate. Even when you most of them, when they graduate from college, they still don't know nothing. They know college experience, but you don't know life experience because it hadn't taught you nothing. So we saying, and like you said, I'm seeing it a little bit more where the kids are coming home a little more and staying, but we really got to get away from that. We really do. Not that your kid can stay there and be a leech. They got to work. They got to do something. They got to have. But again, I tell people now, man, if your child is doing something productive and they need to stay home to 27, bro, you have to at this day, because again, it's no honor in sending a child out there at 23, 24 to struggle.
Yeah, exactly.
To struggle.
Something that you shared when we had at an event a couple of weeks ago. You said, I told my daughter to stay home. Don't go out there and buy that big house. If you're going to buy that big house, utilize that as a rental property, a rental investment. Stay home and save your money, because when you get that big house, it's a liability. Anything break in that house, you got to fix it. The lawn getting cut, replacing the roof, all of those are liabilities. You know what I'm saying? I think that was so smart. So if parents would just do that. And one of the things we have in the book, so we start in the curriculum, and you can check the curriculum out at b1themovie.com. But one of the things we have in the curriculum is we start with the Constitution, because that's a document that everybody is on code with. We follow that code. So in the Constitution, you have we the people. So we said we're going to write a Black Constitution, and we call that We the Family, where we write our own Constitution. So families have to learn, Black families have to learn how to work together again, because what? It's easy to break a finger, but it's hard to break a fist. That's what George Fraser said.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to group together and how to work together. We the family, let's write our own Black Constitution and live by that. You know what I'm saying? Write our own amendments, have meetings, whether they're weekly, monthly, so we can work together as a group, as a team, because business is a team sport. That's why you have the Rockefellers as a family that approach business as a family, the DuPonts, you know what I'm saying, that approach it as a family, because business is the J.P. Morgans, all of them, business is a team sport. Well, we've been taught to run out there and start this business by yourself. Like you said about the Asians studying in a group, and the one Black and the white person studying by himself or herself. You know what I'm saying? So when we work in groups, because we are social people, we are group people. Back in the day, we learned in the African culture, we learned stories and learned traditions in groups. The griot would tell the stories in groups, and we would stand in a circle. That's why that circle is so powerful. and we would learn and share these stories. So we have to get back to what our true sense is, our true culture, our true being, and that's working as a team, working as a group. And I think with the rising prices in gas, food, and all of that is going to get us back to that point. We've had the opportunity to live in a house by ourselves in a suburb, and one or two people. I mean, I was a victim myself when I was married. We had a 6-bedroom house. We had rooms that we didn't even go in. There's 3 people lived in the house. Rooms that we don't even go in. You know what I'm saying? So we have to step away from that and learn to have communal. It's about the community, and that's that common unit.
Yeah. And I think we fall victim to people expectations of what we should be doing. And I say that because even when I first started doing really well, everybody used to ask, because I started my tax business in my house, and people used to come to the house all the time. So when I started getting multiple locations in different cities and stuff, everybody used to be like, y'all still in that house? I know you got your big mansion now, huh? And I used to always say, why? I say, I don't use my den. I don't use my basement. I don't use but a few rooms. Why? And they kind of look on it. I said, my daughter's going to be gone. I said, it just be us two. I said, why? And they had it crazy. I just thought, because y'all, making money now, y'all, and I think people fall victim to that. And like I said, we got to basically understand that you can't let people pressure you into stuff.
Yeah, but I think it's a little deeper than that as well, because remember when I said earlier that we are victims of identity theft, right? So since we are victims of identity theft, we don't have a cultural identity. The cultural identity, who we are at the core of our being, is what anchors us and what grounds us. If you look at Asians, if you look at Jews, they have a cultural identity. That's what grounds them. They wear the black hats, the black suits, and the white shirts. And they're going to wear that 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? They got certain cars. If you look at the Asians, they're going to all drive Toyotas. You know what I'm saying? So they got a certain cultural thing that's about economics. So back to Black people, again, we are victims of identity theft. So we've been taught to have an identity by what we wear, what we drive, where we live, our titles, doctor this, doctor that. So that's what has anchored us when all of those things is not a real grounding. You know what I'm saying? That's not a solid foundation. So when you build on things like that, that is set to crumble. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a true foundation. It's not rooted and grounded in nothing. Back in the day when we were at our best, we were rooted and grounded in the community. You know what I'm saying? The lawyer lived right next door. The doctor lived here. This person lived here. We knew who lived in our community, and we knew what they did, so we can look up to them and aspire to be like them, because that was somebody Black that was doing something amazing, in our community. And white folks saw that, and they said, if we're going to take them out, we got to destroy the family.
Yeah, destroy the family.
And they fragmented the family.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I tell people, like, what we have to do is look beyond black and white, because you say destroy the family. And I hear women say, well, it's hard to find a man out here, these women today. But in my thinking is, family don't necessarily have to be husband. And I didn't just say get a husband or a wife just to be in the family and be miserable. Family can be me and you linking with somebody else, and we create something great that enhances the community. That's still family.
Create a tribe.
And a tribe, and it's all that. And so we have to think about it from that standpoint, like the family setting. And that's one of the things I do believe, that I keep saying, that we're going to lose because we don't understand the family structure. And what I see is, financially, when you have the family structure, financially, you're going to do a little bit better. Long term, you're going to do a little bit better. Retirement wise, you're going to do a little bit better. Legacy, you're going to do a little bit better. And because we don't have that now, because this is one of the reasons why I'm extremely passionate about helping single mothers. And this is why with my foundation, we've done so much. This is why I've funded over 70, single mothers with children with scholarships or retirement plans or anything like that, as well as I have the Bill Assistance program where we help, because again, I understand we gotta have, now I ain't nobody's daddy, I ain't nobody's husband, but I gotta understand that they need a man, and not the woman per se, but the child. You need something to have a male figure to show that's doing good by a woman, for kids to see that. You need to see that somebody's helping, somebody's giving. Because if we never see that, and we never see that coming from a man, our children gonna grow up thinking the same thing. A lot of these women, these men ain't shit. And so until we get that, until I think the man steps up and plays some type of role, then we're going to continuously struggle, because if we don't have the family setting that they're consistently tearing down, then we're going to have a problem. So I just think, how do we fight past that as men? How do we fight past? Because everybody says, well, the problem is that they intentionally took the man out of the workplace and started putting the women, because they could control the women, and they took the man out of the house and said that, as a man, if you took me out, I'm gonna say, the hell with you. Let me start my own. Let me start my own. So that's what I think. I say it's all excuses when people tell me that. So how do we get past that? Most of the men have been incarcerated, so they got a record. And I post all the time. A record don't stop you from getting an LLC. A record don't stop. So my thing is how do we get past that as men to become better for our community?
Yeah. So as men, I attend something called the Black Men's Lab with Attorney Maruli Davis. Most Mondays when I'm in
That's
town.
powerful there, man. I've been to a couple of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we have to start doing things like that. Black Men's Lab is a weekly meeting where Black men meet, and it's all Black men meet in a room, and we talk about our issues and what we need to do.
Yeah.
Because again, it's easy to break a finger. It's hard to break a fist. So when we start coming together as Black men, and people see that, they gain strength from that.
Yeah.
Because they know Black men are going to restore order to this chaotic society that we're living in. There's also one on Tuesday. They have it every other Tuesday called Nduku, which I think it stands for Unity of the Black Man or something like that. But it's again, it's another setting for all Black men where we come, and this one is a little different. Black Men Lab has a panel where you have different people talk on different subjects. Ndugu is a setting where you have Black men, but they have two staffs. So they have a Black staff and a red staff. So the Black staff is given to the person that's speaking. You have 3 minutes to speak on whatever issue you have. First time I went, brother was sitting right next to me. Talking about grown man, crying. You know what I'm saying? Because he's frustrated with life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody is dependent on him, and he's afraid to fail. But at the same time, it's a heavy load to carry. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you just need Black men that you can bond and share these things with, and get feedback from a real Black man, because 9 times out of 10, other Black men are having these same problems in these same situations.
Yeah.
So it takes that, and then Black people can move, because what you're doing is you're creating a nucleus. You're creating a network. So now these Black men are actually networking and doing business together. The same thing is with, the Black Men's Lab. One of the things they always ask, if you need a job, we got this person right here. He has some job opportunities. This person over here has some job opportunities. So it's things that we need as Black men where we don't have to feel ashamed to ask, because you have other Black men that's going to help you and say, brother, you can lean on me. Come here, let me give you a hug. You know what I'm saying? Just tell you I love you, bro.
Yeah.
Stay strong. So we need more things like that. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take those type of organizations and those type of functions and events for Black men to come around.
Yeah, and maybe you can help me, man, with mine, because I try not to get frustrated, but I created something probably over 10 years ago called the MOCC movement, MOCC. And what it stood for is Men of Collaborative Change.
Okay.
Because I figured if we collaborate, we can create change. And within that, I had something that I called the power of 25.
Okay.
And the power of 25 was if we get 25 men and do everything, go to schools, go to speaking engagements, go to events, and people start seeing the perception of 25 men. So if we go to elementary school and we speak to children, even if all 25 people don't speak, but just seeing 25 black men together, it'll be hard to tell a child that black men don't stick together. What society did sold them, that black men don't work together, because when we have stories and say, I met this guy years ago and now we do business together. I met this guy and we doing this. I met this guy and now he helped me get a job. It's hard to change that. I don't care how old you are, you remember something from kindergarten.
Yeah.
So even as a kindergarten, you're gonna remember those 25 black men came to my school. They talked about how successful, and what they see is not just one, it's not just two. Because see, what happens is when we go speak alone, it's always you an exception. See, it's always like you an exception. Because again, they when I go speak to children, they'll see me, and I try not to be too suited up or stuff, if I'm going to public schools, because they can't relate to that.
Yeah.
And I know they can't, because I couldn't when I was young. I was like, you little bougie ass niggas. You know, that was my thought process when I was younger.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but I didn't understand. And so what happened was I try to go and I talk to one, and they may figure, all right, you know what, he's just an exception. He went to college, he graduated, not knowing that I've been shot, I've been incarcerated, I've been through more stuff than more of them do in the streets. You know, and not knowing all that, they look at the now. But now if I give that story, you give a story, he give a story, now they realize, like, you know what, this is multiple black men. This is not an exception. This is the norm. Their perception changes. This is why that's so important, that we collectively at men start there first. Because no other perception we're changing? Black women.
That's right.
Because 90% of them women, 90% of the people there are going to be teachers. And those teachers are usually going to be women. And those black women are going to see black men in a different light. So now when you start saying all, most, and you start referring that to men, you see something different now, because there are black men out here that's doing well, that's coming together, that's in the community. This is why that's so important, man. So able to win. You know, and again, it starts with us. I just believe everything starts with the black man. Because if we consistently put our women on the front line, nobody's scared. You know, because if other communities, and believe me, people don't want to think we at war. We at war with other communities, man. For real. Like, they don't want to believe that. But when we talk about battling for finances, legacy, leadership, we at war.
So I'll say this. I mean, I definitely would love to help you with that. And I think a space or a niche for that. You say you started 10 years ago?
Yeah, probably
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So your foresight, I think, was kind of a little bit ahead of its time. Right now, we have black men that are packing these rooms out.
Yeah.
And I would say that one of the things that would be a lane would be to have something like this online, because I haven't seen one that's online.
Okay.
And have it on a day where, you know, you have the one on Monday, you have the one on Tuesday, so it might be on Wednesday or something like that. But have it on a day where it's not competing with either of those, and it's something that's online where you can get online at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? And we can have these conversations about black men before we go to bed.
Yeah, and then, like I said, you know, I'm all about collaborating. And then you think you get with the Black Men's Lab, because I was shooting videos from there. I was like, bro, I've never seen where I had 100. And when I went to had at least 100 black men.
Yeah.
You know, all on a positive tip.
Yeah, exactly.
All on a positive tip, and we need to see more of that. And I think that's the problem, is that we don't get an opportunity to see that. You know, so we gotta definitely do that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna talk about this, like, and that was D1, my homeboy. Yeah, my homeboy D1, man. Shout out to D1. If y'all don't know D1, that's the rapper. That's the one that just been having the beef with Rick Ross and Jim Jones recently about calling them out, which I didn't see nothing wrong in what he was saying. Exactly. He was just saying, y'all got platforms, man. Y'all got 1 million people following y'all. Y'all got millions of dollars. Why not use your music and your platform to promote positivity and not drug use, drug selling, killing brothers and all of that, which it's made sense.
Exactly.
You know, and so when they come back talking about I do turkeys and I do all this, and I'm gonna touch on that though, but again, when he talked about us having no boundaries, that's basically what he said, that Black people have no boundaries and what we would do. And I never thought about it like that until I watched the movie and I heard him say that, you know, and I was like, damn, you know what? We don't have boundaries. We'll post any damn thing. Women, like, we going back to the kids on the pole. Yeah. Like, why do you have a class? And I showed them, and one they had 2 boys in the class. They had 2 little boys in the class. Like, why are you teaching pole dancing to people? And shit, one of them was what? He was about 3. Yeah. He was about 3 years old in there.
They were very young.
Yeah.
And like that's crazy. You know, and so God, like when D1 said that, so how do we get back to, because I wanted to put a post out and said, when are we gonna see Black excellence again? Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk about that when are we gonna see Black and stand on Black excellence and feel proud about that? Now, you have Black excellence to an extent. You got that Falcons hat on. So that kind, I've been waiting to say that.
I'm on for you, bro.
I've been waiting to say that.
Man. I know I was coming to see you.
Yeah, just being from New Orleans. I've been trying not to look up there. This being from New Orleans, seeing that Falcons hat been killing me, bro. I had to get it in there once though before we leave. I wouldn't even be able to sleep. I wouldn't even be able to sleep tonight if I'd have left here and didn't say nothing. I would have tossed and turned. I would have got on. I probably would have woke up about 2 in the morning, got on the live, and talked about, bro, like talk about that. I'm just saying, bro. I digress, man. I digress. But he said that, man. I was like, you know what, bro? That's a hard one right there. Like, we have no boundaries as Black people. How do we get back to Black excellence? And I know it's probably within one of the answers we talked about.
So in the movie, that in episode 2 of the film, we start with this question here, and it addresses music, film, and social media. What role does media play when it comes to Black people being on code and putting Black people first? So what role does music play? What role does film play? What role does social media play? And we all know that, like Nur Muhammad says in the film, music hits the core of our being. We learn our ABCs through what?
Through music.
Through music. When she said that, I was like, song. Wow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first thing we taught. And they know this. So therefore they weaponize hip hop, something that used to be cool, that uplifted us. It's still somewhat cool, but it was cool in that it uplifted us. It passed certain things on. It gave us a certain dignity and self-pride. It was something that we were using to uplift ourselves. That started with the Last Boys. That started with Gil Scott-Heron. You know, where we were talking about social issues and how to address those things. Exactly. Yeah. Queen Latifah and all of that. So they saw the power of that and they reversed it. So the thing that we got to do is we got to see what they've done and reverse it back to what the original purpose of hip hop was. Hip hop was used to inspire, to motivate. So we got to get on code with our music. We got to get on code with our film.
But do you think we've gotten too far out now?
Heck yeah, we have.
So if we reverse the music, then now ain't that the whack music on the radio.
It's not whack music. D1 music ain't whack.
But they would consider, but again, everything is done because we don't own no media though.
Well, who is they?
They is white folks, but Jewish and white people.
Those are the ones that own the radio stations. But guess what? If we start voting with our dollars and saying we're not going to support this anymore, then guess what? They're going to be forced to change because they so in love with the dollar, because the dollar is their power. right? So they in love with the dollar so much, you know what I'm saying, that they're gonna be forced to change, and we're gonna have them working for us. The thing we gotta do is we gotta say enough is enough. It's time out rapping about killing our babies in the street. When did that become cool?
Okay. But does that come with maturity? This is the only problem I'm trying to figure out how to work this out. Because that comes with maturity and wisdom. Wisdom normally comes after 40.
Well,
anything after before 40, they 35 and under, they still on the hip hop. So they don't see the way we see it.
well,
and how do we get to them to change? Because they're mostly the consumers of it.
Okay. But the young folks are spending our money. Our folks ain't got no money. But I think it's gonna come with sanctions. If you look right now, Young Thug is on trial for a song and what he said in lyrics, right? So he's facing life. He's facing an astronomical amount of time from something that he wrote in a song. So I think it's gonna come with sanctions. So you look at when this trial plays out, then some of them looking at it now saying, well, we can't rap about that no more. You got some that still bucking the system, but these RICO charges gonna come boom, boom, boom. And to me, that's gonna change the way the thing that they're rapping about. I get my stick, I do this, I shot this one, I shot that. Like at the end of the day, like, come on, man. Like really.
Yeah,
like that's all you can rap about.
Because we're money influenced.
And the thing that's happening now, in 2023, I think the first hip hop song or the first hip hop album that went number one happened like in October or November. And I think it was like one or two that did before the year closed, right? So people are starting to change because we're in a different time. We're in a different age now. We're in the age of love, the age of peace. So if you're rapping about this stuff, people are checking out from it. They don't want to hear that no more. The young people still want to hear because they think it's cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they don't have the money. So the adults got to say, I'm not going to support that. We're not supporting that in this household. We got to get back to like how our granddads and great grandddads used to be. Say, well, you ain't playing that in my house. You know what I'm saying? You ain't listening to that.
And I think that's what we have to sanction. But young people have so much freedom and autonomy now. They're not being governed.
On social media.
They're not being governed. And when we talk about not having money, I don't know where hell them young folk be getting money. They got money. They be getting money.
They get it from their parents.
I don't know where they be getting that money, but they be getting it. And because they be having shit on that, I'm like, man, I ain't gonna spend the money for it.
Yeah.
You know, and I got that as pocket change. I wouldn't spend it like that, you know, but they be having to it. You're like, okay. But the thing about it is that what I'm seeing is it starts with us to dig in as men again. Because the one thing I do is I check young cats on, not in a negative way. If I see cats sagging, if I see them blasting his radio at the gas station and it's bumping and cussing in the, you know, and I say, young blood, let me holler at you. And in a respectful way. And I tell you, most of the time, before I can even talk to them, they pull their pants up. They already know. And then I say, hey, bro, I say, I just want to rap with you. I say, you know, I ain't judging you. I say, I've been where you were. I say, I just want to let you know that, like, what you give it up, what you trying to, I would say, what you trying to do? I'm trying to start my own business. I'm trying to do, I say, bro, but be honest with you, who's going to give you money when they're scared of you? And I say, you might be a college student, college grad, I don't know who you are. I say, but bumping your music like that and cussing and all that, bro, gonna basically create a perception of you that's probably not you. I say, showing your draws is gonna create a perception of you that's not you. And I said, I'm not talking about just white people, because black folks gonna probably be the ones that help you first. They not gonna help you, so nobody else is definitely gonna help you. And I don't think we have enough men to step into those type of situations. Because cats always say, well, them young cats crazy. Man, them young dudes crazy. I'm like, but them dudes ain't crazy. Because 90% of, every now and then I'll get some of them say, I'm good, dog. I'm good. You know, play the little role. But most of them, they'll stop and listen. They'll pull their pants up. They'll talk. You know, and when cats say that, this is what I always talk about, man, we got to be willing to risk something to change something.
Exactly.
And I'm at that point, and I've always been like, cats who rock with me, they know I don't mind putting my life on the line. I don't look at that as putting my life online. Be honest with you, these cats basically, because I always say, whenever you deal with these young cats, and these dudes ain't no gangsters, man. Bruh, I grew up around that, man. And in every neighborhood, I don't care where you from, it was only 2 dudes in the whole neighborhood out of 50 that was really about that life. So most of these dudes are copycats, and as men, until we start saying, bruh, I gotta make sure, because cats always say, my son is good. I say, but your son don't live in this world alone. Your son actually have to interact with somebody else's son who's a bad influence, or a few sons. All these little hotty-toddy girls out here, because these little girls, I ain't talking about y'all daughter, but if the shoe fits, if I had a son, keep your daughter away from my son. I don't think I have none. I think I'm good at this point. I might be good at this point. So I
feel you on that. I think it's just going to take more men speaking out and really, having the desire to want to see our community in a better place and having the love too, man.
Yeah.
Because that's what it really takes. And if you're approaching love, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get love back, or you're going to get a good
yeah. And so I say all that to say I'm challenging all you guys, man. Some of y'all I know about it. My man Sean, shout out to Sean, my financial advisor, my business partner out in Houston. But all y'all single guys, like I say, man, we got some stuff coming up. Married guys who are about that cause, let's connect, man. Let's do something different to get something better. But you talk about the influence. Answer this, because I know that some of the people that you interact with, and I can say interact, that you're friends with, that you're close with. And just actually, I saw David the other day, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw David at Eminem. Was K&K on Bankhead?
Okay.
Yeah. Was David last name? Tall.
Which one?
Tall, light-skinned David.
Anderson. Yeah.
David. I always say David's one of the smartest cats I know, but that's a smart dude, man. Yeah, that's a smart dude, man. And so me and him connected on some stuff, and all through you, so all connections are important, man. But you talked about changing the dynamics of it. And one of the things I had, and it was also mentioned, is always mentioned, why do you believe? And if it's some talking through people, because I know Dr. Boyce Watkins, I know Dr. Claude Anderson, I know they have access it up. They may have talked to some Jay-Z's, the Diddy's, the Oprah's, the Kanye's, the Tyler's, or whatever. Why our so-called billionaires are not creating schools, grocery stores, things that can change the complexity, things that can offset the Jew money, and say we don't have to go to them, so we don't have to sell what y'all forcing us to buy. I mean, we don't have to buy what y'all forcing us to sell. We got our own grocery store. We got our own collectives. Why are they so, I guess, apprehensive to come together and build something phenomenal?
Well, again, it goes back to the code. So the Jay-Z's, the Tyler Perry's, the Oprah Winfrey's, they're getting a check from these other people that we don't even know their names. Right? Okay. So therefore, there's a code of operation that they have. If I'm going to cut you this check is for you. It's not for you to go and rebuild your community. That's why Oprah Winfrey will go to Africa and build in Africa, but she won't build nothing in Mississippi, where she was born and raised. Yeah. First thing I'm gonna do, if I have that type of money, I'm going back to South Georgia, Valdosta, and build something where I was raised, where I was 3, 4, and walking these streets as a kid, and I see myself in those same kids that are walking the streets in need these resources. So the reason why they don't do it is because they can't do it. That's off code. That's off code. If they do that, you see what happened to Puff Daddy, right?
Oh.
You see what happened to him? He went and he said it was racist for the liquor company to do what they were doing, right? And what happened?
Did they drop him?
No, they no dropped him. They start bringing out all of his past.
All his past.
Now, this stuff been happening for years with Diddy.
Yeah.
So you go out there and you try to do that stuff you want to, you off code. And you're going to be sanctioned for it. That's why they don't do it, because they can't do it. They can't do it. It takes a certain amount of risk and standing up to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It takes that. That's why they don't do
it. And that's what kind of hurt me when I saw the Steve Harvey and Monique interview.
Mm-hmm.
And Monique was saying, you know, one of the things that hurt her is when she was going through it, like nobody stood up for her. And Steve Harvey was interviewing, and she was like, and I was hurt, like, brother, you didn't stand up for me, you didn't do this. And he was like, I got families to feed. Exactly. You know, I got mouth, you know, I got this, and I could lose this, and you know, and I was like, yeah, we definitely ain't about that cause.
So the thing is, if you get your check from them, you gotta play by their rules. Because they done bought you. So you gotta play by their rules. You can't stand up. You don't have your own voice.
But and no, it was so funny when I heard, and this is why it's gonna be hard, because I think the people who have influence, when I heard and I saw this video, and Dr. Umar, I like Dr. Umar too. I think people are scared of Dr. Umar, but he talked a lot of good stuff. You know, and he called out Kamala Harris, the Supreme Court lady, what's the Supreme Court Justice lady name? Don Lemon, and Ms. Cortez, and Imani Omar, the other. She's more of an Indian type. I don't think she's straight black, but all of them had videos just talking about how black people have to do this, and we have to support this, and we have to come. But all of them are married to white men.
Exactly. So that's just rhetoric.
Yeah.
That's just
and saying how we got it, but all of them, and talking about how we got to support, we got to come together, we got to collaborate, we got to do it. And it showed that, and I was like, damn, you know, that's crazy, because all of them are in position of influence, but they're speaking against they're living what they're speaking for.
Exactly. But what Cat Williams say? Cat Williams say, when you reach that success, you get a white wife, you get this. It's a profile that they create.
It's a funny looking light skin.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you get it's a profile.
Yeah.
And they on code, right? So what we gotta do is we gotta get on code and say, guess what? Keep that. We don't need that. We're gonna get it on our own. We're gonna get it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get it together. Because we set the trends. We influence culture. You see what happened to Adidas when Kanye stepped away from Adidas? You know what I'm saying? So we got to see our power and believe in that. And then have our brothers and sisters support us when we stick our neck out on the line for it. Because that's one issue right there that doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Or hasn't happened in the past. I'm not going to speak it in the future because I'm seeing things different in the future.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? No. So those are the things that we gotta do, man. We gotta do those type of things. And we need to talk on it, but I think with AI, it's gonna give us the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and I definitely and that's the one thing too. I said I want to come back and talk about AI, and then we're gonna give solutions on what you want people to do. Especially us as black men going forward, to make this thing better. But until we come back, because this AI thing is big, and most of y'all really don't know about AI. Y'all heard about it, you don't really know what it is, and it's going to change the future. And part of the problem is that we always last to jump on the bandwagon with new technology. And so this is why we don't benefit it the most, because we don't believe in nothing. We're like, man, I ain't doing that stuff. Ain't going. Like, that's scary. Yeah, like first of all, I already tell people, I don't want people in my business. Let me tell you something. If something already know to make a left turn in 100 yards, they already know about you. Once you sit them tax papers in, they already know about you. If they got your social, they got everything. So don't worry about that. Get ahead of the game.
And they got cameras everywhere.
And they got cameras everywhere. Cameras, not just the red light cameras you see at the red light that don't ever work. But that suckers work in New Orleans, because I sure got me a damn ticket in New Orleans. So I know they do work on Carrollton Avenue in New Orleans. If you ever in New Orleans, they definitely work there. Because I sure had to pay them suckers $210.
What, you was speeding or you ran a red light?
No, I said I was in a school zone.
And you was speeding.
Well, yeah, it was basically, I was doing 55 in it was, whatever it was 10 miles over the amount in the school zone. If it's 25, I was doing 35.
Yeah, I done got one of those.
I started to call them, but I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and get this out
I
of the
got
way.
a couple of those. So
all right. So y'all, before, like I said, I'm gonna come back to Rick. We're gonna get into this AI thing. He's gonna give us some tips, man, on what we need to do, and just things that we need to do going forward as a people, but then also as Black men. But then I want y'all to know, watch out, man. Beware of the taxosexuals, because you got the taxosexuals out there. And for the people who wasn't on the call earlier, a taxosexual is a person that dates you for the sole purpose to get your refund. So if you get unexpected calls in the next 2 weeks, I just thinking about you. I know it's been about a year since we talked, a couple of years, be careful, people. Be careful. And I'm just saying, if you got a couple of W-2s and you got a couple of kids, holler at your boy. Holler at your boy. I ain't saying I'm a taxosexual. I'm just saying holler at your boy. But yeah, for the people, I'm telling y'all, just be mindful of that. Hey, again, for the people that wasn't on earlier, remember, man, we got 2 more events at the RB Solution Center this month. We have one Thursday, and we're partnering with companies, man, that's doing phenomenal things. So we have a networking event here on Thursday, and then Saturday we have the pop-up shop. So go to the rbsolutioncenter.com. You can see all of the events, past events, upcoming events. And Saturday we got the pop-up shop. Come on out and support some vendors. We're gonna have vendors. We're gonna have people here just networking. And the crazy thing about it is, bro, I built my success on networking. Most of the people that work with me, I've met them through networking. Most of the people that I have relationships and partnerships with through other companies and cities, through networking. Networking is so important. And don't get caught up in numbers. Don't get caught up in numbers. It's about quality, not quantity. I don't be caring. Sometimes if it's an event that have 15 people, I like that because I can get to everybody. And let me tell y'all something. Those events y'all be talking about, they had 200 people there. Know how many of them was quality? 8. So you just had a lot of numbers. That matters, man. So don't ever count that. I went to an event Saturday. They had 7 people there. I got 3 of them all ready to call me. One of them I met with today, which had 2 businesses and a rental property. That's $1,000 return for me. And just for showing up late, because I had another event. I had some things I had to do, so I got there at the last 20 minutes. And so you never know, man. Just show up, and so that's so important that you show up to these events. But go to the rbsolutioncenter.com. Go through, I need y'all to do me a favor. Go through the website and look at the virtual tour and give me some feedback. Give me feedback on the placement. Give me feedback on whatever. But look at the events. You're going to get me some more of that juice. And y'all already know, y'all see the video. I'm going to feed y'all, and you're going to have some adult beverage stuff going on. All right, so I want to hit y'all with this before we get into Rick. So a couple of things. People was asking me about some changes with some tax stuff. Remember, people, keep up with your mileage. The mileage has been, and I can say has been, but this year and last year has been the highest it's ever been, the mileage rate in history of the taxation. It's 65.5 cents a mile. So if you do a lot of driving, keep up with a lot of your receipts. Hey, Miss Stacy, keep up with, not your receipts, but keep up with your mileage. Get a mileage log, get a pad, get something. Do a odometer reading, because that's going to be a great expense for you. And I tell you, as a game changer, mileage is what we call an add back. So you can take that mileage that you write off, 20,000 miles, subtract from your income, you get taxed on $20,000 less income, but then they add that back to your income where you still show that when you're trying to qualify for rental property, refinancing, loans, lines of credit, and I know that was fast. So if you have questions, man, that's extremely important. So reach out to me. We talked about training, taking classes, going to seminars, continuing education. That's all tax deductible. Keep up with those receipts and those invoices that you pay for that. And the last thing I'm going to touch on is they're looking to change the car 100% purchase write-off. They're looking to bring that back. And when I say bring it back, some of y'all already knew that you can actually write off 100% of your car. They now have decreased it to 80%. Every year going forward is going to go down 20%. So if you're looking to purchase a car this year, give it maybe about a month or two and see if they're going to change that law. It might change in the next week or two. So you can write off 100% of your vehicle if it's over 6,000 pounds and you use it for 50% of business use. People, that's extremely important. If I buy a $70,000 car, because ain't nothing now costing less than $70,000. Now you buy pickup trucks, that's $115,000. I bought 2 scooters y'all saw for the summer, and those were $60,000 a piece. Like, bro, like, I got everything crazy now. Like, it's crazy. So you can write off a $70,000 vehicle. That's crazy. And then you can add that income back to your income to show that you still have it, but don't pay the taxes on it. Half of y'all didn't know that. This is the kind of stuff that separates us from other communities, man. Because if we know how to keep more of our money, we have no reason not to invest in our communities. We have no reason not to invest in our future. Understand that the majority of your money goes towards taxes, especially if you're a W-2 person. So make sure y'all hit us up, man, at the rbsolutioncenter.com, LB Tax Service. And again, we're going to have Brother Rick give you his information. Give it to him now, and we're going to give it to him at the end again to follow you.
Yeah, so follow me at Rick Mathis. It's RichMathis. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the platforms. Rick Mathis. Definitely. And check out the movie at b1themovie.com. It's b1themovie.com. b1movie.com.
Mama, I made it. I'm with Rick. Mama, I made it. Now I know my dad be on Instagram now, so I gotta be watching what I say here. But my dad might see this though. Dad, I'm famous. I'm with Rick Mathis. And so my mom don't be on there. She thinks she gonna get charged for everything. Like my mom don't do nothing. She'll call me before she do whatever. If I download this game, I gotta pay for that. I said, Mama, if it shows up, you gotta pay. It's gonna show you to pay first or whatever. She's like, Mama, if I watch the news on my phone, I'm gonna have to pay. I'm like, no, Mom, you ain't gonna have to pay. She said, I saw that Facebook thing pop up and somebody was like, follow me. If I push that button, I gotta pay. I'm like, nah, Mom, you don't have to pay.
I don't want to know about the bills, boy. That's what I'm talking about.
Now, and then she was like, if I did something and pay, I'll pay you the money back. Like I was like, nah. I said, if you see something you want, go ahead. I said, because it's to an account that I don't even be looking at anyway. I need to look at it because they be getting, you don't be paying attention to them. You be having about 58 charges on it. Like, man, what kind of stuff? And I just recently did that. I went to it was Xfinity or one of them, and man, I had so many charges on there. I'm like, man, I didn't order this channel. They had about 7 different channels charging me $9.99 a month since May.
What?
Yeah, and it was like all these different, and I was like, man, I don't have all them channels, so they reversed all the charges. But yeah, if you don't pay attention to your bills, they'll get you. All right, people. So again, remember, if you have, and another thing, they're looking at bringing the child tax credit back to where it's refundable. So when you was getting that $36 extra $100 for your child, refundable in your pocket as a refund, they're considering bringing that back too. So this is more important. I shouldn't have said that on air because all of the tax sexuals gonna come out now. So now they know you getting an extra $3,600. Yeah, them tax sexuals, they gonna be out there. So again,
how many babies they got? How many Social Security numbers?
Hey, how many kids y'all got? What's up? What's up, babe? Hey, I see that. So that means if you're on this streaming, then that means that you must have kids. So I'm letting everybody know, like, if you get a call from me, because I missed you. Because I missed you. All right. So again, man, like everything's changing right now, man. And we got to change with time to be successful. And I know, like I said before, you had mentioned, you know, everything that's happening with technology now. So what is the big thing right now that's happening? Because what I heard was you had a lot of the fumes and stuff in the industry. The reason why they was trying to change, because now they was having all this artificial intelligence and all this stuff coming in. So what is that about, and what's the new thing?
Man, I mean, I look at, I always say for Black people, look at the opportunities as well as the threats. Mm-hmm. So we go back to just a couple of these people, and you can write these names down and look these two gentlemen up. These are, one is the father of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, and Geoffrey is spelled Geofffery. Hinton. Yeah, and he's considered the father of AI, right? He started going to school. He went to school in the UK back in '72 to study AI. He went to school to study AI back in 1972. Now that's weird, right? That's about 50, 60 years ago, right? I mean, about 50 years ago. Yeah, about 50 years ago. So, white folks plan in 100-year increments. They don't just plan in 10, 5, 10 years.
So Dr. Frazier was in line when he said that Black people plan for Saturday and white folks plan for generations.
That's right. He wasn't lying. So he's considered the father of AI. And then there's another gentleman by the name of Kai-Fu Lee. And Kai spelled Khia, Fu, Fu, Lee, Lee. He's considered the oracle of AI. So look up those two guys. Those are two of the forerunners when it comes to AI. But to answer your question, with AI is really disrupting the way we make films. It's disrupting every industry and every aspect of our life, right? So we have to become what's called AI adjacent, meaning we have to start using AI to enhance whatever it is that we're doing. If you're not using ChatGPT, I would suggest that you start using ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. You can use it for whatever. Just think of something.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to ask you. Like, what would the average person? Because most people didn't heard about it, mm-hmm. but they're like, all right, that don't apply to me.
So we talked about writing books. Mm-hmm. You can use ChatGPT to say, I'm considering writing a book on taxes. Give me a breakdown on the market that is best to target, the age. What would be a good topic to write on. You can go to ChatGPT and it pulls data from the internet and from information that we've input. It even pulls it from the information that we've searched from our cell phones within a certain radius. So if you're using ChatGPT and you're sitting in, here's 5 people sitting in this room now, it will pull from information that we've searched and we've looked at to give us. So it's database. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things. I used it in the film to create visual images. I used it to organize the footage. We shot over about 47, 48 different interviews. Each interview ranging in time from 45 minutes to an hour. So that's about 50 hours of real time that I use AI to organize. Mm-hmm. So I uploaded my footage or my interviews, and if I wanted to know if someone said something about love, the word love, I can search that and it'll pull up everybody that said it. If somebody said something about taxes, it will pull that up and, you know what I'm saying, it'll tell me who said it, the time code and everything. Another thing I used it for was audio correction. You know what I'm saying? So I had a couple of, in the scene in the film where the young lady was on the bridge and she was talking about she made the sacrifice to come to this event. It was the Ohio Black Expo. And that was one of those interviews where, you know, I had the crew to keep the camera rolling and we were just talking, right? So sometime when you're creating films, you'll get stuff that's like golden nuggets, but it's because you kept the camera running. But that scene had a lot of background noise. But what I was able to do was utilize an AI platform to pull out a lot of that background noise. So what I'll be doing is facilitating an AI film class that shows you the different platforms and the way I use AI for content creation. You know what I'm saying? So AI is disrupting everything.
All right, so don't let that go. Don't let that go over your head.
Yeah,
this man just said he's going to create a class to show basically content creators, filmmakers how to use AI. Right now, people, that's big. If you know and know what I get on my social media line, well, I'm a content creator, or I'm a content creator. It's a million of y'all out there as content creators. He should have a problem with his registration being overloaded. Because again, one thing that we lose out on black people, again, like I said earlier, we always behind the 8 ball when stuff come out like this. Because we want to see if it worked, we want to see what it's gonna do, you know, and by the time it does all that, it's too late at that point. Like everybody, it's like multi-level marketing. Like when people get in on the back end, you're pretty much done. Because the people who got in on the front end are the ones who make the most money. Because we wait to see how it's gonna do, or I'm gonna see how you're gonna do first. You know, and so we wait, and we gotta people take advantage of this. When we start talking about, you know, changing the dynamics of not just the community, because everybody's not community based. And I don't challenge you, but you life based. You want your life to be better. You want your children's life to be better. So if we talk about legacy, this is the new things that's happening. You know, and that's why I'm always looking for young people to partner with, because again, I want to work with individuals. I want to have resources and platforms where they can learn, where we can work together. Because I know, and I know me, I know I'm not going to be as hands-on at this point because I'm in my living the fruits of my labor. So to master something else other than what I do, I'm probably not. But I want to work with young people. If I have to finance it, if I have to do whatever, and then you basically work with me to show me how we can all benefit, that's what we have to do. The thing I like about AI, one thing I don't like, I'm a big advocate of people knowing their craft and learning their craft. What I think what AI does is because, and this is the old person in me talking, you know, versus, you know, the way young people think, because, you know, older people be like, oh, I remember we had the encyclopedia. Like that shit go. Like it's gone now.
Everything on that figure.
Let it go. Yeah, let it go. Like let the encyclopedia go. We got Google now.
Exactly.
You know, and so with me, with business, because I'm so passionate about people winning in business and doing business the right way, is that AI don't allow you to learn your craft because they're giving you everything about your business for the most part. And so, but the curse, I mean, that's the curse to me. The gift is because we live in such a limited time. It's a beautiful thing to not have to take 5 hours to research. You know, so that's the gift of it, because the time is going to be the main thing. So overall, I love it because of that, but I still think that it gives too much without people basically doing anything on their own sometimes.
Well, you're still going to have to put the time in because it's a new platform. You have to learn the nuances of it. You know what I'm saying? So you're still going to have to learn the craft, right? But the thing is it's disrupting every industry. And I tell you, I'll give you an example, right? So you have ChatGPT, right? It took Netflix 300 days to get 1 million subscribers.
Okay.
It took Facebook 3 months to get 1 million subscribers. How long do you think it took ChatGPT to get 1 million subscribers?
A minute.
No, it was a longer than
about 10 to 30 minutes somewhere.
5 days.
Oh, 5 days? Okay.
It took 5 days. That was good guessing. But it took 5 days for them to get 1 million subscribers to start using ChatGPT. So it's going to, AI is disrupting every aspect, every facet of our life. So much so they're putting it in clothing. The guy was Speaking of earlier, Mike John, we're going to do an event here in Atlanta for Black History Month.
Okay.
He has something called wearable tech, where AI is in your clothing,
Wow.
in the things that you wear. And he was just at the CES conference in Vegas. That's where all of this stuff is coming from. And he was like, "Man, there's so much crazy stuff coming." He said they had a robot that DJ'd this party for 5 minutes. A robot named Susie. They DJ'd a party. So imagine you go to a party, D, and you got an AI robot DJing the party. You know what I'm saying? That's able to play can read the crowd, and basically the way they read the crowd is through our cell phone. So they can pull data from your cell phone.
Yeah.
They already know what everybody in the room is listening to. So now they just gonna play those songs, but they even do it through technology. So that's how quick time is moving, and that's where we are.
Yeah. And we have examples of it. It ain't like y'all don't know, because soon as I say, man, shit, I need to go to Macy's.
It pop up on your phone.
When I get off this live, when I get to my phone, I'm gonna have a bunch of Macy's ads already there. You know?
Because your phone is there.
Yeah, already there. I might have a delivery from Amazon.
Yeah,
all my own stuff.
Ordered it for you.
I already ordered. Like, oh, he wanted a shirt. He needed a shirt. Yeah, they already ordered that for me. They had already thought it out for me. Yeah. You know, and so, but this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of scared for my people, and not the younger people, because they embrace it. Mm-hmm. And my older people, especially my working class people, because they're looking to replace your jobs. Mm-hmm. So, you know, yeah.
So there's going to be millions of jobs that AI is going to delete. But what's going to happen is it's also going to create other jobs and other opportunities. There's going to be more billionaires created in the next few years as a result of AI. I was just reading an article today that says how to get rich by through the GPT platform. So GPT stands for Generated Pre-trained Transformations, right? Which is just a code word for just AI, AI platform, right? So the way the guy was explaining it, he was saying that we're in the age. Remember when we had the apps on the cell phone?
Yeah.
And a lot of people started creating those. So we're at that point again now, but we're there with AI and GPT. So if you jump on this now, you can make millions, maybe billions right now by jumping on it in front of the curve and not being afraid to learn it, not being the Johnny come lately, not being say, I want to stay in the old way of doing things. Okay, stay in the old way of doing things, but also be informed of the new way. So you can kind of bob and weave in between the two. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thinking on it. I want to know what's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
What are the opportunities and what are the threats? The threats, okay, these jobs are going to be taken away.
Yeah.
But that's also going to create other jobs and other opportunities.
And I love that. And I always said, you know, and I look at that from real estate the same way. Whenever there's a market crash or something imbalanced in real estate, a lot of people are going to lose out, but a lot of people are going to win. So it's the same thing with business and technology. Like you said, people are going to lose their job. But what I'm scared of, and this is why I really need to connect with you to get rid of people, get our people informed and involved. Because not just informed, but involved. Because you're saying it's going to create more billionaires. What I'm scared of, we ain't going to be the ones. We ain't going to be the ones. Because again, I've just seen too much reluctancy in things like this. Like we are in comfort zones, especially once you start getting to a certain age. Even though you need to and want to, the comfort zone. And
I don't want to learn that. I gotta think different.
But part of the reason why people usually are in comfort zones when it's stuff like because they're ignorant to how it works. So the more informed you are, the more educated you are, the more willing you are to get in. Because now if you hold classes and you say this is how it works, this is how you do it. Oh shit, that's all I gotta do. I didn't realize it was that easy. Oh, you know what? Let me start doing this and let me get involved. Now you start to get involved. But because we're so ignorant to it, we don't even pay attention a lot of time. We're gonna tune it out. You know, and so that's why it's so important, man, that we have people like you that really bring it to the forefront, that bring it to our attention, that educate people on this whole wave that's changing. You know, because again, with ignorance, you move nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, and my thing is people are not privileged enough to do what I do as far as be able to bring other people in and see. That's why I try to, you know, get a Keisha on my team, Amanda on my team, because they into graphic, they into technology, they young bucks, they, you know, they probably a little bit more in tune to this stuff than I am. You know, but everybody can't bring people in to kind of look into this. Because again, I always say, and it's not a bad strategy, because Warren Buffett, you know, all of them, they, what do you say, you get people that's smarter than him.
Yeah.
You don't know everything, but bring people around you. But if not, we're going to get left behind. You know, and so, bro, we appreciate you, man, for bringing that to our forefront and just really your love for the community. You cannot do what you do continuously, you know, because what they don't understand is this is not your first movie. You know, so what was the other movies? Because I got them all.
Yeah, so we started with poetry. So we did a 4-part poetry series. It being first being Word. Poetry on Fire, that featured the last poets, Amir Baraka, Sonny Sanchez, and one of the poets that was on HBO's Deaf Poetry. And then we produced a film on religion called Contradiction. And then we did the 4-part series on Black Friday. So the film Black Friday the remix, Black Friday 2. And and then now we're doing B1. But we've had the opportunity, you know, the work we did, Bowlegs, which was a story about Marvin Arrington Sr.
Okay.
And if you don't know who he was, definitely look him up. He was a very influential guy that from Atlanta, and they did a lot to make Atlanta what it is today.
Yeah, I watched it on the plane. That was good. That was a good movie.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. So he was instrumental in helping Muhammad Ali get his boxing license back. And they fought the fight right here at the Omni in downtown Atlanta. The Omni, for those who don't know, who is new Atlanta, and State Farm Arena. Before it was State Farm Arena, it was called the Omni. So we produced those films, man. And again, you know, I just love Black people and love sharing this information, which is why, you know, I'm sharing the information now about AI and how it's totally disrupting all of the industries. I know you're familiar, but with they're using AI in taxes. They're able to have these AI pull certain tax codes based on where you live and what your job is to help you get these write-offs. You know what I'm saying? Or to help you get a bigger return, or to help you where you don't owe as much money at the end of the year. So AI is being used across the board, man. It's being used across the board. And, you know, it's really just learning the nuances of it, learning how to prompt it. Like with ChatGPT, one of the things that we're using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT could write. You could say, hey, act as a songwriter and write me a song about love for Valentine's Day. And it'll spit it out in 10 seconds.
So I don't have to come up with my own song.
So you don't. And AI is actually creating songs. They create me a song that sounds like Chris Brown. Create me a song that sounds like Lil Wayne. And AI created it.
Yeah, and they're saying that's what they're doing with movies and stuff now.
So movies,
likeness and sounds and putting people's voices inside and not paying them.
But the thing is the thing about AI is only prompt to do one thing.
Okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you tell AI, pick this cup up and put it back down, it can only pick that cup up and put it back down. It can't deviate from outside of that and do anything else. You know, so that's where we have the edge, because it still needs our creativity.
Yeah, and it's gonna always be a need for humans. You know, that's the beauty of it. But a lot of people gonna be in trouble because it's gonna be some things that they're gonna, because what we still
because of the curve too, though.
Yes,
there's a learning curve that's about to happen to take place.
But the thing about with us as Black people, the one thing that we still fail to recognize, that this world is a capitalistic world. It's a capitalistic society. So if they can save millions and billions of dollars by exterminating jobs and creating robots, and they're gonna do that. So you got to understand, it's gonna come. We don't know who it's gonna come to. A lot of y'all is gonna miss, but a lot of people is gonna hit. So we gotta make sure that, man, we at least know, because see, if we know what it does and how it works, we can always see the warning signs
And the opportunity.
and the opportunity as well. So you see the warning signs and you see the opportunity. And that's what we fail at, because we don't see it coming either way. We don't see it coming either way. And the thing about it is, you have a million, it's the red car syndrome. You have a million opportunities around you every day. And that's one of the things that, if we already said, like, if I said, man, you notice how many red cars on the street? You be like, nah, I ain't really see none. But after I tell you that, you're going to start noticing all the red cars that be like, damn, that's the same with opportunities every single day. This is why my mind always working, because every day I see something, I be like, damn, you know what? I can sell that. I can change that. I can make that. Because once again, once you start gearing your mind to opportunities, you start seeing everything as an opportunity. You start seeing, like, damn, you know what? I could do that. But if you're not thinking about it, then it's not an opportunity. So, like you said, it's a situation where you got to be mindful of it, because you got to know what to expect if it's coming at you. But then you basically got to know what to expect to basically go for it. And that's the beauty of it, man. So a lot of y'all, like I say, I know most of y'all say, I want to know AI, I want to learn it. Man, make sure that you follow Rick. Because as he said, he's going to do classes. I'm going to kind of press him on some stuff, because the best money is that easy money, though. Like that, and that's money. And when I say easy money, meaning while you're sleeping, while you're on the beach. I always say, people say make money while you sleep. I say make money while you're on the beach. That's a beautiful thing, to be in the sunshine, the beach, in the beautiful water, and you getting deposits. That's a beautiful thing, man. And the beautiful thing about it is it's possible. So don't let these tax sexuals take all your money when you can take an AI class. So make sure that you continue to follow, man. Make sure that you continue to support. If you're not on IG, follow me at RichBoi, RichBoi RichBoi, and then make sure that you follow my man Rick Mathers on all platforms.
RIC Mathers, RIC.
Perfect. We're gonna talk about it. They can do 99% of the things right and do 1% wrong, and we're talking about that. Means I'm not perfect, but 99% I'm still great. That's him with the hat. So again,
100%
great. So but definitely make sure that you follow, man. Go to the RB Solution Center, people. Please go to the schedule a tour. Like today, we had 3 people come through and do a tour, and they were all blown away. Their minds are rolling now, like the things that they can do. We're the only Black-owned, all-inclusive co-work space in the country. And like people say, there's Black-owned, but nobody's all-inclusive like us. Nobody has a massage room, what you call them, phone room where you can do calls and you can do those type of things. Like we got a little bit of everything. We have storage. We have a store that you can house your product. We have all of those things. So nobody has all of those things in one house that can cater to their members. So, and you can get all of that stuff for one price. That's the beauty of it. That's where the all-inclusive come in at. You don't have to get nickel and dime with every event you do, every class, every seminar. We can give you one price, all-inclusive, and all of those things are in there. So, that's the beauty of it. But we don't compete with none of the other Black-owned. We actually refer them out if we can't accommodate you. But again, it's enough room for everybody. So go to the rbsolutioncenter.com, watch the virtual tour, and give us some feedback. Basically, go to lbtaxservice.com if you have any tax questions or concerns. And we got so much stuff coming up, man. Look at the events and just let us know if you can benefit from what we have by doing a class, a seminar, partnership, virtual addresses. That's hot right now. Let us know. We created this for you. It's the Solution Center. And pretty much everybody needs solutions, and so we win together, man. This is how we win. And every week I talk about this: collaboration beats competition. Let's stop competing and start collaborating. We talked about this whole platform, how to change the dynamics of where we need to get to. And it's unity, it's collective. Use those words. And those words help build the words I keep telling y'all, put in your vocabulary. Assets. We talk assets now. Rich and successful people use the words assets. That's buying land, property, rental property, those type of things are assets. And the other word is net worth. Your net worth. We not worried about how much you make an hour. That's great, but until you start living by net worth, what's your net worth? Rich and successful people say, what's your net worth? And your network's accumulated through your assets. When we start talking about building wealth, that's the answer. Change your mindset, you change your life. All right, what you got before we get out of here, Rick?
Hey, man, just want to thank you for having me on the show, man, and thank you for always supporting me. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, no doubt, brother.
Yeah. Even though I wear the Falcons hat, you still support me. You feel me?
Well, it's hard, boy. I tell you, it's hard. I fought it for a long time sitting here, boy. I fought it for a long time. Lost a lot of clients because of that, man.
But so we're definitely gonna do some things together, man. I love the space, man. Congratulations on the
Thank you.
RB Solution Center. Yeah. And definitely looking forward to doing some things here with you, man. So,
yeah, and I want to say too, man, it's like I get on everybody, but everybody who have a black organization that do stuff for black businesses, and I need y'all to reach out to Rick and say, Rick, you need Brian in your next movie because every platform, and I talk about this with everybody who does, support black business, black organizations. If it's We Buy Black, I work with all of them, man. And if we make all the money, but we don't learn how to keep it, it don't matter. Mm-hmm. We get out of this situation by becoming non-mom and pop. See, we got to learn to scale. We got to learn to hire people, train those people, and elevate those people, hire more people, teach them to do what we do. But the thing is that if we don't have our tax situation, this is why you see a lot of people make $1 million but still broke, because if they give 50% of it back to the tax man, I'm living $1.1 million lifestyle, but I'm bringing home 500,000. That they'll never equal up. And the one thing we always talk about is building wealth, making money, becoming millionaire, but we never talk about taxes. That's the one component that most organizations always, like when people have these events and they have 75, 85 vendors, but these vendors are one-man operations. They've been that way for 10 years. Let's see how you can leverage your taxes to go get a loan, line of credit, get that, use that as operating capital, hire some people, move away from the table, start marketing, build your business, and now you have a conglomerate as opposed to self-employed. And that changes the dynamics of our community. So you need a tax man. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, people. So again, man, we appreciate y'all for hanging in there with us, tuning in. It's always a beautiful thing to be able to do this, and not only do this, but do this from my own building and space. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way. I say that in a motivating way, that it's done. And it shouldn't be a big thing that we know one black man with a building. We know two black men with a building. Like, this is nothing new. So that's why I take it light. Not that I don't appreciate what y'all tell me, but again, this should be our norm and not the exception. Because people have buildings all day. It's 1 million. You ride down here, it's 100 buildings. So we should say, that's a black-owned building. That's a black-owned, because it's doable. Yeah. Let's change the narrative, man. And if y'all have anybody, or y'all know, or y'all have a business that's solution-based, we ain't on no bullshit over here. If it's solution-based, holla at me. I'd love to have you on the show to say how you can help the community, how you can make a difference, because we're looking for solutions. So again, man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great evening. Make sure that y'all follow Brother Rick. Make sure that y'all go see the movie, go online, and do the. And then, how to get the curriculum, bro?
So all of this is online, b1themovie.com.
Yeah.
B1themovie.com.
Go to b1themovie.com. And as I posted the other day, I support clients, but even when I don't really have to, just because they support me. So in this case, this is going to be something beneficial. Show the brother love. Let's see if we can get 30 people, man, to buy the movie, buy the book, make a donation. If you say, well, no, I ain't going to watch the movie. I ain't going to do the curriculum. If you got a donation platform, donate, because he's giving to good causes, bro.
Well, you can go to the Gwen Lewis Foundation. That's a foundation.
That's your mom's
created from a late mom.
Okay.
The GwenLewisFoundation.org, I believe, is the website. And you can go there and donate. And guess what? It's tax. What is it?
It's tax deductible.
Yeah, tax deductible.
So do it in your business name.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a foundation for her, and we're doing things for Miss Gwen Lewis.
Sure, you're right. Do it in your business name. And also, we got some big things coming up with the RB Solution Center and the foundation, the RichBoi Foundation. So stay tuned. We got a gala coming up, and I'll keep y'all posted on that next week. Y'all have a great Tuesday, man. We appreciate y'all again for rocking with us. Stay positive. Look at my audience. Hey, audience, speak, clap, cheer. Yeah. I ain't get on too much tonight, though, because this was more like a serious thing, but I ain't joke too much on it. But, peace out, man. Y'all have a great evening. Make sure y'all show love, stay connected, and realize that we are one, and that's the only way we can win. Peace.
Good job, B.
I appreciate you.
That's what's up, man.